Okay, so the theme of today's episode is just getting acclimated to our pet, which we just got last time. It was love at first bite, as I said. I'll probably use that as a thumbnail for that episode. But basically, to show like the sacrifice and everything that goes into keeping it, because for a while we didn't have one. And almost what I should have done as a trade-off for like, okay, we can use a pet, but we can't use a bow, obviously range and stuff. But we can use a pet, but if the pet dies, we die. So then you have to make the choice whether you really want to use it or not, or it discourages you from tanking. So it is permadeath pets in the sense that like if this dies, I can't get another wolf. Like the archetype of the pet I can never get again if it dies. Like we're too traumatized by that. We'll never get a wolf again, whether it be one of the ones in the hinterlands and stuff. So we lost a raptor, even though it abandoned us because like our reach exceeded our grasp as a hunter. That we thought we were ready. Our trainer thought we were ready, but we didn't know how to take care of it or feed it yet because we hadn't been to Orgrimmar. And it's a good RP correlation to my completionist style too. Like I'm not ready to go to Orgrimmar yet because I just don't want to do it. I wanted to save it up and do it a different episode. So the trade-off is because we're some country bumpkin troll who's never been to the big city to train properly, and I didn't know that offhand because I've never played a hunter really. You have to go to Orgrimmar just to learn how to feed the pet. I thought that would come with it as soon as you just learn how to tame it and stuff. So they do kind of cuck you on that. You have to just go straight from Razor Hill to there, otherwise you're screwed. But if you do that, basically he just ran away, so he didn't die. But I'll still count that towards the whole permadeath aspect, like the raptor. I can't get another raptor. Yeah, it's sort of the sacrifice that goes into it, and so we're sort of over the grieving part, and now we finally have a new pet. We didn't mind sleeping on the rug as much this time, although we do take issue with the whole undead's ways. I like starting off everything with like some sort of theme to the episode. He's already scaring me. Like don't go into the red. Like it took a while for the raptor to leave me, but I kind of was just playing with fire. Or you know what would have been really annoying is what if the raptor would have started attacking me mid-combat? So I'd be fighting something, and he wouldn't just abandon me so that he's not helping me fight the thing and tanking it potentially and, you know, maybe saving me that way. But he actually joins in and starts attacking me for starving him out. Of course, not intentionally. And then, you know, that creates a whole nother problematic dynamic. So he was nice and cozy by the fire. At least we have that. But you have to understand the undead aren't doing it just to stick it to you, despite how unfriendly our relations might be. It's actually just because they don't need to sleep on a bed, or they don't need to sleep at all. Although they don't really talk about those sorts of things too much. They don't need to eat, maybe, for nourishment, but, you know, it's almost like cannibalism is maybe the only way they can eat, not, you know, just the ability they have. Like, why would they even need to eat to, like, heal and stuff, but somehow that just works for them. Some of this stuff might actually be reasonably valuable. Like, when am I going to get something better than that? We have very few greens. That totally seems worth it. I don't know why I'd ever need 2 of them, but... So it almost makes it a good excuse to go back to town. Like, we can show this off, but we're kind of paranoid. Our character, like, oh, we don't want to lose it again. So we want to make sure we really, really have earned it before we go back to Orgrimmar and show it off to our trainer, and then we can learn stuff for that. But also just even Mongoose Bite and important, like... You know, I'm sure there's some abilities we're behind on, so we've kind of... I won't just go places, like, randomly, right? There has to be some context and in RP explanation. Like, we'll go back when we really feel ready, or there has to be a reason to do it. You might question, why is... I kind of want him to face me, but he's not... doesn't like me too much yet. That's fine. He's... Fuck. Very hard to get, like, a profile right on her, or right on him. So our first pet was a raptor named Ash, and of course that starved out. And so this one is going to be a case where, yeah, like you might question, why is it called Wolf? Because we haven't decided on the name yet, but also like that sort of shows the duality. Like it was love at first bite. We really liked it. As soon as our character saw it, right, we went into Silverpine and like, oh, we're finally over the loss of the last one. Let's get another one. I love this thing. But we also want to keep it at a little arm's length because we don't want to get too attached in case we lose this too. So it's sort of like this weird mixed sun deer dynamic, if that's the right word. Like a character who starts off rough and then warms up to you. You're almost deliberately keeping it at a distance just to stave off the potential grief of a loss that we've already experienced. Let's actually get this. That's not a bad upgrade because we want to be able to match pace with the it makes all these vendor shops and items so much more meaningful because you can't get stuff obviously from the auction house, and that's something I experienced in past runs. So that's a really good item that I might not get an upgrade for 10 levels. Who knows? You really always feel lower than what level you actually are. We'll sell this. Some of the stuff I'm keeping for sentimental value. Like this, I think I just got from fishing. So because it's so unique and rare. But that's one problem too, is I can't go to the bank. And sort of like the unlock condition for the Undercity is you have to get at least a friendly here. So like in order to earn our way, everything has like a trigger, right? In order to be able to sleep here and rest and log out, we have to agree to do a quest for one of the people in town, let's say. Although normally it's better if there's somebody in the house itself. And in order to like enter Orgrimmar, we had to do stuff with respect to certain Durotar quests. In order to leave Turrisfall Glades, I had to do a certain amount of quests. Like I'm not just like randomly going places just because they're level appropriate. So I spent a little bit of time dicking around, and in this much time he's gonna start to starve out, but that's fine. I'll get something for him. Yeah, so I maybe stayed and killed stuff in Turrisfall Glades, even if it wasn't giving me experience or it's under level, just to sort of earn my keep there. I didn't want to just go through super quickly. So I'll save the other town episodes, like we did a whole big thing for Orgrimmar, like a 5-hour episode, just like talking to every NPC. So I'll do the same thing for Undercity and Thunderbluff, but it'll be much later on in the playthrough. Maybe like every 10 levels, or if there's some justifiable reason. Like at least this one has a checkpoint. Thunderbluff I could theoretically go to, but you would have to go through like the Barrens and Camp Tarajo with like level 20 lizards, which at this point wouldn't be that crazy, but yeah, I like how this house music is less scary than the normal one that you hear, like even in Durotar or somewhere random. It starts to get real. Oh, there we go. We get the profile, and then he immediately stops. Yeah, we won't go back arbitrarily. We don't name it because we don't want to get too attached to it, even though we are sort of at the same time. And then, oh yeah, there was kind of a cool, deep moment of let's like just practice feeding it while we do this, and then we'll check out the town, which I didn't do in great detail, or I should almost walk back to where we got it and just reminisce on the wonderful time we spent together. There was a cool sort of deep cannibalism RP moment with the undead, because we're a troll and we take issue with some of the undead culture, just generally, like cannibalism, and it reminds us of voodoo and stuff that we don't really approve of, right? Because we're the good kind of troll who doesn't do that. So we got the pet, and then he's immediately like hungry and unhappy with us. So we feel compelled, like, oh shit, I better feed it. I didn't really think this far ahead. And so I kill one of its own kind and make it cannibalize it, right? I feed it its own warg meat. And then you have this realization, like I wasn't really thinking about it like that, but we just literally fed into cannibalism, despite how much we disagree with it, and it's morally reprehensible to us as a good, upstanding troll. And so we managed to become the very thing we've criticized since being in the undead areas, right? We've become what we hated just by spending so much time here in Turrisfall and now Silverpine. So now we reject that notion, and we'll really try not to do it again. We'll try to feed it bear meat and things of that nature, which I think there were some bears around here. Let me actually do this. So yeah, that was kind of a shock moment. Like I was so worried about it leaving us, like my last pet, that we were willing to just, oh, I got to get meat as quickly as possible and make sure it eats something. And wolves can be cannibal sometimes, right, in reality too, but it's just a preferential thing. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. And so that was a big surprise. Like, wow, we actually unwittingly, in our desperation, in a moment of pressure, we folded and became the very thing we hated about this whole area. So we'll continue to reject that idea. Always keep it on passive is a great rule, otherwise it'll aggro like a whole bunch of shit in the zone. We already have some of these quests, which I kind of forgot about. So when it comes to quests, it's not like I have to do every single one or really any of them, but the ruling I'll make is that, yeah, see, we already have bear meat. There's no real rule on how much you can or can't feed it or where you can feed it. There's a lot of stuff I do just like, oh, I can only do professions in town. So I could craft this engineering bomb that would make this encounter easier, but I can't because you would have to just go into an encounter prepared, crafted in town. When you're out in a combat area like this, you just can't do it. He's already very happy, easy to please. Some of these I do have to kill. Let me just have some bear meat in reserve, I guess. Or like I'll overfeed him. I think I did that a lot on my hunter the very original time I played it. So I kind of still want to tank because I don't want to run the risk of it dying, but number two is I want to have triggers for Mongoose Bite and counterattack, which we're going to get by like level 30. Unfortunately, it's going to be a while, but use that sexy wing clip DPS. We actually have a decent amount of bag space, so I bought a couple of good things with my silver, like a couple of bags from one of the shops in Brill, the little agility boot, so that's going to make a tremendous difference, even if it doesn't seem like it. Like, look at our dodge chance now, or look at it with and without it. 69. Oh, it's only like a 1%, but I guess it is only one piece of gear. So if you have that on everything, I don't necessarily want to kill those. I don't know if there's bears back here. We're going to try to avoid killing the wargs. It should almost make him unhappy when he kills his own kind, right? That could be a whole nother mechanic in itself. Let's just look for bears and bears only to appease this guy for now. I want to have like a stack of it or whatever. Or you can always buy it from shops. So I don't want to waste money that way. Yeah, when it comes to quests, in order to like get through an area, like being a completionist with these zones, I kind of like with Turisval, I kind of wanted to do every single quest, but there's one exception, is if it's yellow or if it forces me to go to another area. Yellow or orange or red, I don't have to do it then. I can still do it, but I'll come back later. I don't want to abandon any quests this run ever, so that means I have to be careful not to accept the quests that are going to require killing elites or that are going to require oh yeah, you get to see like the ruins of Dalaran here, or no, not here, but you get to see like some sort of reference to it. Some of the Dalaran mages and stuff are still sticking around. I didn't like how they sort of just transplanted it and moved it to Northrend. That was kind of arbitrary and stupid. You're trying to tell me that Archimonde would just be that oblivious, and wow, they sure got me there. They just teleported the whole city. So already leveled up. Why did he level up like late that way though? I'm not even gonna worry about the training points and stuff. It shouldn't really matter for now. We're just like, or that's like his loyalty level, leveling up, right? Training points -4, unruly, loyalty level 2. I think loyalty level 1 was like rebellious. Yeah, we'd like to do all the quests like to earn our way here, but it tells me to go to the Undercity. Obviously, I'm not ready to do that yet, so that's acceptable. And then if it's yellow, orange, or red, I don't have to do it. I can save it for later. So like the Fizzle Darkstorm one, which is... Wait, where even is that? Oh, Durotar. That was still like yellow even by the time I left Durotar, so it was acceptable to leave that. But if it's green, like we did the Scarlet Crusade ones up to the green ones last time, it was okay to do that because... Yeah, you're so desperate to feed it, you'll just feed it like the Grizzled Bearheart quest item. Yeah, anything yellow, orange, or red. It's not like a hard rule. Like, I could still not do other ones, but I'll try to do everything that isn't an elite or dungeon quest. And again, I don't want to abandon anything, so it'll just take up unnecessary space. I kind of want to do everything I get, so I have to be a little bit careful not to pick stuff up frivolously. It's always good just to wing clip them in case something goes wrong. We've had actually a couple close calls, but that's just me being lax. We don't have any other aspects for the time being, or like aspect of the Hawk I might have, but it just doesn't matter. Or yeah, a lot of spells I won't even learn, which you might think, oh, that's like cheating. You should have to learn every, but since I'm not using a lot of them, it doesn't matter. We could do a 2v2, but this might seem like, oh, it's unfair because you have a pet, but the way I've kind of structured this is, I think, makes it pretty fair. See, he went through the bear, so that might have aggroed it when I wouldn't have. And there are some random roaming elites. And no, see, I don't want... Ah, fuck. There are some random roaming elites. He's just ravenous. He doesn't need to be fed the bear. He'll just eat it himself. 44, not bad. Crit, actually, that should have done more for my crit than it did for my... dodge and stuff. In fact, agility even increases your armor, if I'm not mistaken. I forget about that. Melee weapons, critical strike with all weapons. Yeah, it increases armor and chance to dodge attacks. Become an armor fucking hunter. I forget if these ones stack. I think the stringy stuff does, or... Yeah, it must, because you would totally just do that. that you would have stacks in your bag at all times. It's not like there's spoilage. This isn't like a survival game, but you are a survival hunter. Oh, maybe that should be a rule. Like, you can't preserve stuff. That would be annoying, though. You can't preserve stuff, like, to the next episode, or it has, like, some sort of shelf life. So that'll constantly keep you on edge with having to feed it. Oh, but that could be really irritating. Yeah, other than that rule of potential yellow significance of leaving it for later, I'll still do it. I would have to clear out like every single quest in the zone, kind of like, or at least every one that we come across, like the Scarlet Crusade stuff, and one of them was very tough, even though it was still green. It was like, kill Captain Vakan of one of the towers, and he has like 2 bodyguards, even though they were lower level bodyguards. I'm just obsessed with killing the bears for this reason, but I guess I do have to kill them anyway. So we sent him on a vacation. Like, I don't know exactly how you would make that joke, but yeah, that was kind of risky still. You have to do it in a very strategic way. A lot of things that don't seem like they would be difficult become a little bit difficult here. There are going to be some roaming elite paths like that, but it's closer to Shadowfang Keep. It's not that I'll never kill elites and stuff like that, but if I want to dick around with them, I'll do it at a much higher level, or I'll wait till I feign death or something. Yeah, just the main reason why we're able to keep aggro is not because, oh, our damage is so good and stuff in melee, but actually just because we have this ability to be several levels higher than it. Although it will eventually catch up, because how much of experience am I really getting from doing this? This is kind of a blind spot area behind the tree. Like, you always tend to want to avoid these. He is holding it pretty well, though. And one of these... Wait, that was an actual level, not just a loyalty one. Receive extra damage and causing damage. So that doesn't actually give you... Why did I want to go back to where I tamed it? Oh, I guess I just wanted to explore the area from the beginning, but... because I kind of just rushed through here in excitement over the pet and just trying to find a place to rest. We have to log out like in a different place every time. Doesn't mean it has to be a different zone, just like a different house or area. So if you like, I logged out in the Sepulchre, so now it has to be either a different town or like a house that actually is appropriate, not like a house that could potentially have enemies in it. And then there's sort of that unspoken rule. If it's an abandoned house, maybe I can do it without any implied consent, but if it's an NPC in there, I should have to do like a quest or something to earn their favor. We did it for like that crocodile chick by the... Oh, shit. I was trying to farm this up, but it's kind of... As long as you're constantly killing beasts, it's not such a big deal, but... Guy just doesn't care. I mean, it is within a reasonable level range of us. Yeah, all these mitigations will actually be very satisfying because you'll be spamming other abilities. Like, Crepit Fairy. I don't remember if there's something super scary here, but again, you could say, oh, we're over leveled, but there really is no such thing because you could just grind, you could literally grind out and not do quests at all or do whatever you want, right? Like, that's never a rule. Just to say, like, okay, these are a lot higher. You almost shouldn't even fight those, even with the rule of 2 with having your pet, the rule of 2 with avoiding... Oh, shit. Yeah, we don't want to mess with this. It's not like I couldn't do it either, but then you aggro 2 or something goes wrong. Oh, shit. Let's just try it, I guess. Really shouldn't be a big deal, but then it creates all these kind of opportunities of mitigation chain. And you have to remember, my pet is lower level, too, so it's more likely to aggro stuff. Which I'm not really playing like that's actually a factor. Let me guess, we're gonna die to the Curse of Agony, which I actually might. Or if, at least if the combat had gone on longer. Look at that. Yeah, whenever enemies have like crazy abilities like that, or even if they have some kind of CC, it can really catch you off guard. It's not like I'm gonna know all those things by heart. I guess everybody would just expect, being the expert that I am with 3 flawless one-try runs with Rogue, Warrior, and Priest. Although I don't know why I remember dying as a Rogue. It must not have been that run. It must have just been some other time. I think I got another Rogue to 60 just for the fuck of it some other time. But either way, the other two at least were perfect. I just remember all those close calls. So we have a bad PTSD associated with Murlocs from the wetlands using Psychic Scream and aggroing like a whole camp. And then from Tirisfal Glades twice, with just seeing like Mod when I was younger and like how scary that was with like how many Murlocs and stuff he had around. But then also 2 hours, 53 minutes, not bad considering we were doing it in like a level 1 to 10 Tirisfal zone. So there's no rule on when I can put talents in. And so now we'll have a 20% crit on this, which is going to be very big deal because we're going to be doing Mongoose Bite a lot too. Which presumably does a lot more damage than this just because I can't believe this is still rank 2, but again, I haven't gone to a trainer maybe in a little bit. Like, when did I come over to... So it'll have like a 25% chance. So 1 in 4 of these is going to crit. What if that's all we do this episode is just like farm out bear meat? That would be an amazing objective. I had to keep like a 1 level per episode average, but that's kind of unlikely to do too. Yeah, as it gets further, it's just going to be too much, and a lot of it's going to be exploring. And of course, like the Orgrimmar episode, how the fuck am I going to get level there unless you were to turn in like 20 quests that you had in your back pocket? That'll totally be a technique you can use too. You're about to do a hard encounter, but you do it like when you're 1 tick away from leveling up. So you fight like an ad alongside an elite. You kill the ad, it levels you up, gets you back to full health, and then you kill the other one, something like that. The Grotus strat from Thousand Year Door. So Silver Pine is going to be... We did that. Let's may as well just do these. I don't know exactly where this is. Spider Blood combined with Toxin Derived. Skittering Dart to the northwest. So... I mean, really, I'm trying to backtrack anyway, but... Unfortunately, I was trying to get meat for him, but I just can't really seem to do that because... the amount that they're dropping is barely equalizing with him, so it's almost like you should buy it. I guess all I'll do is... There's no harm in just going to sell stuff. Okay, we already killed enough of these. Yeah, there's never any rule against grinding or anything, and I'm trying to like flesh out all the areas because... Especially these early game areas are of more significance because I've rarely played in these from this side. Right? I've never really played as Horde. It's one thing like, oh, like... You know, contested zones, but contested zones don't matter because you spend a lot of time there. Oh my god. And you have even less of an excuse to lose to that if you... That's all it takes. Like, you would have to let the pet be the fall guy, and I'm already thinking of betraying it. What a bad trainer I am. No wonder the last one left. You have the ability to track, but of course they're humanoids. So now in our genius hunter brain, we think, okay, I better change my tracking, which I have to go back to town to even do. Like, we can't concentrate here. These are all things that like, this would be the next step. If WoW was more hardcore, if it was like EverQuest or some of the older school MMOs, that's almost what it would be like. A lot of abilities would be restricted. You can't do them in combat. You can't do them out in the field. You have to be in a specific shrine or area or something. Like, that would be the next level of it. So for RP reasons, I think that's fair. Just so you can't do it so conveniently. Like, here we can track humanoids and we get to distinguish. Like, we have a shock moment. Wow, undeads are humanoids. We never knew. We thought they would show up with undead tracking, which we don't even have yet. I'm not going to worry about... wait. Oh, is that because I hit level 16? Because I did talk to some of these people at least. What is it? For viewers, so this earned our keep to be able to sleep there. We got like a... what the fuck is it called? Airbnb agreement, and we even get paid for it. Like, I'll clean your Airbnb if you let me sleep there. Is there some sort of arrangement? I'll be your maid for that night. You served me well. Or like, yeah, every time you have an Airbnb, I get to sleep there afterwards and clean it in return. So you get like a free maid who's doubling up. You have served me well. It is obvious to me that you will be a worthy aid to me as I prepare Silverpine Forest Erigold's Curse. Some of this dialogue doesn't make as much sense because they'll say, like, I'm sure you know by now. Like, I just got here. I'm just a troll. I've never talked to you before. So some of it is sort of canned dialogue. Now, that I'm allowed to keep because an NPC did it to me, right? But otherwise, I wouldn't be able to. Yeah, you even look like you are associated with Dalaran. Erigol's Folly. How Erigol gained acceptance within the Kirin Tor is beyond me. His spellcasting knowledge seemed as transparent as a brown glass bauble. What's important now, he is pretty impressive, though. He's the whole reason why an entire race on Azeroth exists in the Worgen, right? Some random level 25, seemingly NPC has so much lore associated with it going on. What's important now, and all these awesome locations in vanilla that end up being fleshed out later, like the Greymane Wall and stuff. You know, this is a whole Gilneas. Not that the shapes always match to what it ends up looking like, but the worst offender is Pandaria or whatever. Like, it just completely is mind-blowing to think that a continent that big would just go unknown. Like, oh, it was covered by this magical fog. Like, really, dude? What's important now is learning exactly what magic Erigol used so I can turn against him and secure Silverhine Forest for the Dark Lady. Yeah, that's always her strategy, is in order to beat the plague, let's make our own plague. You'd rather just become the thing you swore to destroy. Erigol first stayed with the wheat farm just north of the bridge. One of the Deathstalkers reported seeing some spell books, but could not secure them. Retrieve for me the spell labeled Remedy of Erigol from those books.
Trust no one.
So you're trash talking his ability to.
Hello.
You're trash talking his ability to cast spells, but yet you're copying his own recipe for one. I mean, it's. Yeah, let's give them to our pet too, and it won't show up on their feed either. The way that that was really something that Skyrim should have had, is the ability to more properly customize your companions. It was kind of janky. So this is all leather stuff, but most of it I don't care about. In fact, it's too expensive. This just kind of conflicts with that. Yeah, these rare one-off items are pretty good to have. Yeah, really, what would be the point in having two of those? You could auction house one. Okay, this was a nice little souvenir from Firstfall. We also shouldn't be allowed to buy stuff back, so you have to be careful with what you sell. Carving Dagger of Power. Anything that's green, I feel hesitant to throw away, but... Oh, and also that's where you should be able to learn swords is in Undercity, right? I'm pretty sure. But most of these people didn't have anything too much to say, but I don't think I really talked to them. Bowyer.
I haven't got all day.
We have this innate fear of guns and throwing stuff because, again, that was the other factor. So this character has a lot of trauma going for it. The fact that he's got like a little Charlie Manson insignia. What is this? Is that actually, that must be a model you can do yourself, but I guess you don't see it too often. You have a lot of trauma for this character. The fact that we don't use bows or guns because our parent, when we were younger, who was a hunter, of which we took after, accidentally shot on a hunt our favorite childhood pet. So then we swore and vowed never to use a bow, gun, or throwing weapon out of respect for that. So we've always been ridiculed as a hunter, like, oh, you know, the hunter without a bow, the hunter with the troll with clipped wings, so to speak. Ironic for a hunter to have that, you know, their own ability used against them that way. That's what we've been picked on with. So even further, we've been like the hunter without a pet for a while, right? We couldn't even feed our pet. We couldn't even keep it. So now we really want to prove when we go back there, like, oh, we can totally take care of this one because you've already handicapped yourself so much. So you couldn't handle range. You couldn't handle a pet. You can't do anything, right? So it almost is us trying to prove something to ourselves. And that's why that first loss of the pet hurt the character so bad. Yeah, none of these are really going to have anything too interesting to say. Some of these names will catch you by surprise, though. Like, wow, it's going to be some, you know, the level 4 Ishnu-Allah guy who is the kid of some NPC in whatever, Suramar City. Okay, this, I mean, technically everything's an upgrade as far as stat-wise, but you do have to keep an eye out for some of these are going to be good. Or even just for the shirt of it, we can kind of mesh with the undead style. Which, of course, is going to be more like the human style. You can barely even tell what's going on. That kind of makes you stand out like a sore target. Or maybe you should do that for your pet's benefit. Or no, oh, that's kind of good for camouflage purposes. Right, it kind of matches our whole color scheme. Now we'll be able to hunt around like an actual hunter, even though we have to go in melee range and just fuck around. Like, it would make a certain amount of logical sense with respect to... I like all the random leveled guards, too. Like, they weren't always a fixed thing. The way that, you know, like in more modern iterations of WoW, it's like always level 55 equivalent ratio. I guess it actually is because of the level squish. that was kind of a good decision they made, but it's just kind of weird. It's sort of an admission that the game's been around too long.
I'm listening.
Yeah, you're allowed to do this just because it's all organic, just the same way that I was allowed to get a green, either from a drop or from a shop. Before I know what we are dealing with here, I need to study the spell known as the Remedy of Aragorn. Bring it to me now, or I shall be forced to find myself a worthy servant.
Goodbye.
Yeah, this series is as close to going back to RP as I'll do, and I like it because it's sort of meant to be organic. It's not like I'm going super far out of my way, but I have all these ideas as I'm going through. I should read some of these things. Reminds us of the debt that we came here to face and overcome. Thinking back to our past and our childhood, but also thinking back to what just happened. So at least the raptor didn't die, and it found its peace and happiness in the wild, away from us.
And you are.
Greetings, our bats are well trained and fed. You'll now find faster. Thinking it to me that I don't feed my pets. Is that what it is? We're getting all like passive aggressive and insecure, like everything is about us. He couldn't possibly know that. Uri's tombstone. The word betrayer is crudely scratched on the finely etched epitaph that reads, Uriv lies here, father, husband, paladin. Let his children bear witness to the fact that his dedication to the light was unquestionable. He would never ask anything of them that he himself would not do. Why are they calling him a traitor? Because they're just undead and they... I don't know who that is. Uriv. Lore expert, lore master. Or a lot of stuff I've probably just forgotten. Yeah, I've forgotten more about WoW, Warcraft lore than most people have ever known. Maybe. We could de facto feel like, oh, we're burying a memento of our raptor here. What would sort of represent them? The very trapper's gear that we were wearing at the time there? Something meaningful to us, that our old identity as a hunter is gone, and we don't need the reminder of it. That's an ode to our raptor, who we didn't get to bury because at least he didn't die. That's a good ritualistic way of doing it. Shadow Priest Alistair. Almost missed some flavor here. Information. With our scouts and agents, we control the flow of information in Lordaeron. Scourge movements, their holdings all underneath our watchful eyes. As you may know, border crossings. Give this quest to a Republican Trump supporter. As you may know, the town of yeah, isn't this so controversial? This is worse than anything the undead do as far as killing or creating a plague and doing all these crazy things. Oh no, they're complaining about people crossing the border. That's just inhumane. As you may know, the town of Ambermill remains the source of human opposition, mainly through the support they received from the Wizards of Dalaran. But Dalaran doesn't exist anymore. Didn't you hear about what Archimonde did? I don't know what they're... Yeah, what the fuck? What Dalaran? There is no Dalaran. It's not like, oh, that just happened super recently. That happened during the war in which Archimonde was banished, which is the opening cutscene for Classic. Like, this is well-known knowledge. Or maybe I'll scout around and they'll be like, wow, what is this barrier? Even though it moved to Northrend, it's like... You know, they're still there. It's like with the Kulturas Marines and stuff, right? Like in Terragard Keep. It's like the humans have a coping problem. They can't accept. Like we lost in Durotar. The Proudmoors died, Dalen Proudmoore, whatever. But they still come there and they're hanging around like they're lost. Like, oh, we're just in Durotar. This is where we're going to stand post till the end of time. It's the same thing here. Like we're in the ruins of Dalaran or in the outskirts of it and we're just here, even though it doesn't exist anymore or even though it left us behind. Through the Wizards of Dalaran. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know what their plan is, but for them to show interest in a backwater village like Ambermill indicates that it must have greater importance. They've been shipping crates by the wagon from Hillsbrad. Many of those supplies, and like maybe they would just be trying to rebuild Dalaran would be the whole idea. The wagon from Hillsbrad. Many of those end up at a small camp south of Pyrewood Village. That was one of the most world PvP intensive areas for whatever reason. Hillsbrad. It was such a big ganking zone too for higher level players. That was weird about it. Or, I mean, obviously STV. I was definitely a big world PvPer, although I wouldn't necessarily gank people. Although sometimes I would, but more so I would just gank the Flight Masters and really piss people off. Like the one outside Gadget Zan and the one in the Thousand Needles, Freewind Post, I was known for really fucking over. Or who is that rogue who like camped Menethil Harbor for like weeks at a time? He became kind of infamous. They've been shipping crates by the wagon to Hillsbrad. Many of those supplies end up at a small camp north of Pyrewood Village. Retrieve the contents of a crate and give them to me. We want to stay away from Pyrewood Village because that's right near SFK. Retrieve the contents of one of the wizard's crates. You will find Pyrewood Village to the south. Well, it says camp north of it. I'll take my chances because by accepting it, you could be signing your death warrant because you don't know. But I can always just leave it and do it later. Baron's Peril. I've received word that a group of undead are holding up, preparing an attack against us. Armed with this information, we can turn the tables, attack them first, nipping their little plan in the bud. Unfortunately, and yeah, it's showing sort of the flexibility of the Scourge and sort of Arthas's whole influence. Like in Tirisfal Glades, he's attacking you with gnolls. In here, he's going to attack you with whatever else. Like there's no sense of limit to it. Like just whatever is available in the area, he'll just raise it and that's it. It's just that simple, which in a way is sort of the lazy design, like, oh, you're just reusing enemy types rather than come up with something unique for it. You just say, oh, it's an undead version of whatever is there normally, or even an undead version of a character, like how they do that with Starfang's kid in the fucking whatever ICC near a pocket of, I was gonna say, in what was I gonna say? I was gonna call it something else, but it appears to be a cave in the hills near a pocket of Dalaran wizards. I trust your resourcefulness. Find them and put them down. The exact location, or no, I didn't even read the top part. Unfortunately, my information is spotty at best. They're reported to be hiding a location known as Baron's Peril. The exact location is unknown, but it appears to be a cave in the hills near a pocket of Dalaran wizards. I trust your resourcefulness. Find them, put them down. So two of them already are mentioning the things. Isn't this like sort of what we just saw? Or no, like by the... I can't remember now. My memory's really bad. I just saw it. The thing by the water that I was almost died to even. Kill 6 Ravenclaw Drudgers, 6 Ravenclaw Guardians, return to Shadow Priest, Alistair the Sepulchre, a wand, which I used a lot on the Priest run, and I even got lucky and got some blue one. Then people say, oh, it's a lucky run. But I mean, you obviously would play it differently that way too. Or one of my favorite moments like that ever is like in Dark Souls. I'm doing like a multi-character, one stat only simultaneous first playthrough. So like intelligence and attunement only character and a strength only character for the, you know, like a warrior type class. And so in the process, what basically happens is I got the Black Knight sword and great sword just by sheer chance. I didn't know that they weren't guaranteed to drop, and I even got them on the intelligence character. So between both of them, it made it seem like, oh, you always get them if you kill those particular ones, which maybe the drop rate is high because those are like the only ones you see at that point. But it just so happened that the strength character happened to get it, and I didn't think anything of it. But then people would certainly feel like, oh, it's overpowered and this and that. It made it too easy. Which it really didn't, because you're not allowed to use a shield or anything or range, so some of the fights were super hard, like ONS with no shield and strength only, or Artorias and this and that. So these would be important to do, but we don't want to make this guy feel like, you know, we just got you and we're already thinking about our next thing. We would definitely want one that is ranged, though, as an option to switch to. So it'll be a melee only hunter, and people say, oh, you're throwing bombs and you're having your pet do range, but that's the ultimate oxymoron. The pet can do the range, but we can't, right? That's our whole big commitment. Royal Apothecary Society. So these guys do come through in the clutch. I forget what that one guy's name is who's up at the top or giving orders to them with Sylvanas, sort of conspiring against her, and then you kill her in the Undercity, and then Very Mothras betrays you around that time too, which was really not a big surprise at all that he would do that. It's almost like Sylvanas doesn't care. Like she kind of knows or wants to see him reveal his plans. She just completely owned all the Dreadlords. Like nobody could mess with her. I don't think I went in here.
Hello.
Bates, obviously Norman Bates. Rest your bones for a weary spell. It would almost be more fitting though if you had this reference in Brill though, because this isn't really an inn. It's a crypt. It's not subtle enough for Norman's capabilities. Like, yeah, you would really feel safe resting in a spot like this. Yeah, we also don't take rested experience, aside from the stuff that we're always guaranteed to get. Like, just, even if you log out outside in the wild, that's what's going to happen.
Now.
They're naturally irritable, especially when a nosy troll comes in. They're just jealous of how much bigger we are than them. Hello, Hunter. If you're here, then you must know that Silverpine is saturated with our enemies. To survive, the Forsaken must drive them back. Well, then let the Forsaken do it, which I am not. Lost Deathstalkers a couple weeks ago. 2 of our Deathstalkers, Rain and Quinn Yorick, were sent on a reconnaissance mission. Yeah, there could be like a pun name counter. Now that I'm actually paying attention to the names and stuff more than ever before, like 95+% of names have some sort of reference. It's just that some of them you might not even know. Mission through Northern Silverpine, we have not heard from them. They may have become victim to the Scourge, though if that is true, I want to confirm. Find these Deathstalkers. Their first objective was to scout the farms in Northern Silverpine. You can begin your search there, find them. This will be like the Murloc, find Rolf and somebody in Rolf's remains in the Murloc camps in Elwyn Forest. The dead fields are initial scouting reports. It doesn't even let me RP properly, though, because I have to worry about the fucking hunger of the pet the whole time. Great power comes great responsibility. Our initial scouting reports of Silverpine show the rot hides have a base. But see, I love mechanics like that because it's so specific. Nobody else has to worry about this. Not even warlocks who have pets, because they're more. It feels more like mercenary stuff, and you just summon it to do its job, and that's it. There's no sense of attachment there. Whereas here, you really do get connected to it. You have to feed it. You have to worry about the loyalty. You have to worry about somehow, all the training and different abilities, and you can control it hands-on. There's so many little nuanced things, which of course they don't make deeper over time. They actually simplify and remove. An old farm to the north, the Dead Fields. We have sent small assaults against them, but each time they're reinforced by the Banshee Nightlash, who uses her magic to rout our forces. We want Nightlash destroyed. Go to the Dead Fields and assault the Rothides. If you don't see Nightlash, then kill the Rothides until she appears, then defeat her. Her essence will turn to dust. Bring me that dust as proof. Kill Rothide Knolls. Yeah, we just pick up some dust from under the fucking bookshelf. That's it. When Nightlash appears, kill her. Bring the essence of Nightlash to High Executor Hadrick at the Sepulchre. Reconnaissance boots.
Beware the living.
Yeah, Night Elves would be so intrinsic, though, because of the whole Shadow Meld. That would really suit. That suits a Hunter very well for RP purposes and otherwise, even just functionality. Just all these little utility things. We'll have the traps later. We'll have the... That's how big a fan of card games I am. Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, we're doing traps even when we're not playing. Your interruption is costing me valuable time. This better be good. Care to learn how to turn the ore that you find into weapons of metal armor? Yeah, sure. Once we get to level 40, that'll actually be a legitimate question. Let's see if there's some kind of cool recipe that we can learn. I did get the mechanical squirrel one, so we will totally do that. That'll be the only pet that we truly need. Oh, there is a cooking recipe, but do I already know it? Teach you how to cook smoked bear meat. So even though it's not going to really do anything for me, oh, that might be... I don't know how much better that is for my pet. If I make that and feed him the cooked version, it'll make him twice as happy, I guess, or maybe it won't do anything. I don't know how much the quality of the food factors in, but it almost doesn't seem to matter. You could just feed them more stuff. Yeah, I should have some sort of spoilage mechanic. You have not lived until you've dug deep into the earth. That could take on a different meaning for undead too. Like, until you've been dug deep in the earth, you haven't really lived. So I wasted this excellent buff. That's very relevant to us. Yeah, I actually don't know how that works. But yeah, it wouldn't be worth it. Like, what are you going to do? Buy level 55 food for it just to, make it a little happier once you're at, like, if you're level 60? I don't feel like people would do that. They would just buy whatever and just keep spam feeding it. Or maybe they stop becoming satisfied by the food after a certain point. Yeah, let's go back to where we first, I was going to say caught it, like we really are a Pokemon trainer. Let's go back to where we first met our other half. And we'll just... Okay, let's look at the quest. Aragol's Folly. So, okay, don't worry about that. Wait, it's red? What even in this whole zone should be red? I guess it would be towards the bottom. I trust your resource. Like, why is it even giving you stuff like that? Sometimes you have to wonder. It doesn't mean even that they're elite. What the hell is Baron's Peril? And what was this then? I just forgot what it was called. This whole area by the water, right? We do have the humanoid tracking, so we can check out for the son of Aragol. These are pretty dangerous, just want to see what this area is called, dude. This is not what it is, though, right? Ravenclaw, it's like the next level of this. And you always hate going down into those areas like the catacombs, like in Duskwood. That's such a suicide area to be in, but sometimes it is what it is. Okay, so we're out of the level range of some of these. People are totally going to say, oh, over-leveled and this and that, but I actually have to get some more bear meat, though. I wouldn't mind, like, farm these bears for like an hour and just have a surplus. Yeah, that maybe should be a rule. I can't figure out how to exactly do it. Your food doesn't last till the next episode, for the pet, at least. We don't mind eating older shit, but then again, I barely even worry about food for myself. I'll just spam bandages. But yeah, your food will spoil, so you have to feed it either right away or during that episode. So any food that we get is only good for that point in time. Where are the bears? Because we don't mind having him eat those, but we definitely don't want him to cannibalize his own kind. That's bad for his whole psychology, and I guess with the undead, it's not even really cannibal. Well, it can be, but for the most part, it's not. It's just eating, you know, other races, especially with humans. Like, oh, we're not human anymore. So it's almost like them trying to stick it to the humans to show that. You would think there would have been more sort of presence in lore to say, like, there are some Forsaken who still feel like they want to side with the humans. They still feel like they're humans at heart and this and that. But I guess it's because the Alliance is so persnickety and dickish, like, it wouldn't really accept them. So they almost feel like they have no choice. Or in a way, you can kind of let the pet catch up by killing Greys to you. So it'll get experience, but you won't. Look how that guy's right on us, but he still doesn't aggro. Yeah, we're trying to keep it at an arm's length, literally, and we don't want to get too attached, so we don't even name it. We don't even pay it too much mind, but we are kind of rolling our eyes at the... Oh, he's level up again, or whoops. Or that's the loyalty level, so let's see what this one is called. Submissive. That's not even really a good thing. You don't want it to feel like that. You want it to feel like you're equals. Like, sure, do what I say, but not... That just makes it sound too forceful. Okay, they're just not dropping the meat that I need. Or as soon as I do it, I keep... I think if you go further up, then all you see are the wargs as far as the beasts. This is probably the best bet to get them. It's just... I don't know how many bears there are. I guess I'll keep going down. Yeah, we just saw the son of Aragorn so casually that it's kind of a little bit disturbing. That's the one advantage you obviously have as a hunter. I always like to make the first strike myself. That should almost be a rule, right? You have to go in like the one in charge, and then your pet follows your lead. It's not going to just attack without you showing that strength. If you're willing to fight, then it's willing to fight. So it knows you're in this together. Wow, they're just not dropping meat or what, dude? Yeah, we'll spend the whole episode just farming food, and then we're not able to use the food next episode. That is kind of annoying. Or is there like some place, like if I put it in the bank, I'm allowed to keep it? I don't know if like it not attacking hurts its experience. There's a lot of nuances to the pet that I don't know how they work. Oh shit, see now, never going to combat like that, even though it's a level 11, who knows what can happen. Or like a son of Aragorn will respawn on top of you in some weird spot that you don't expect, because obviously you weren't the one who killed it, so... Oh, he gets those pretty close back to back, level 12. So yeah, we're just not getting any bear meat. You don't have to feed it like super often, so it's not that big of a deal, but I could really use some other abilities, like... You know, Mongoose Bite should already be learnable, level 16. So we're handicapping ourselves in that way, too. Not learning spells when we can, not using, obviously, range stuff. And yet, it still feels like, oh, it's OP, it's too strong, because you get to... It's too strong because you get to use the pet and whatnot. Like, basically, you can't use any mechanic in the game, and that's totally my style. But I wanted it to still have some sense of identity. Like, the whole point of the class, in a way... is just no wait, oh fuck, I want to get the first hit though. I gotta make that sort of a rule. Just in principle, will earn its respect better. these are a little higher level, and maybe they'll have a higher chance to drop it, or the meat that they drop should be a lot thicker and more satisfying for him, or even just for the purpose of cooking could be good. Yeah, linen cloth doesn't have much value to us. In fact, we'll probably end up using it for engineering now more than bandages. We should start getting wool. I like the whole standard of like using the racial every what the fuck, using the racial every fight. That's how crazy this can sometimes be, but it's not that unreasonable to wait that long. The main time when it hurt was like in the crypt area, like in Agamon Mills, in Grisfall. Like, oh, we don't want to use the racial, so we wait like 3 minutes between every encounter, but then by the time you do that, they'll respawn, so you won't be able to get that far. You kill one pack, you do the racial, or not even that you kill one pack, it's that you literally just kill one of a pack, then you run away, then you kill the other of the pack. That was like the Albion Online strategy, like trying to solo that dungeon, which was meant to be solo too, but I guess we were just super low level or low gear. There are no levels, I guess. No classes, no levels, nothing. Oh, wow. We're just getting screwed. Or you should almost not be able to look at... No, that's... I think that's fair, but... Level 14. If the frostbolt lasted a little longer, that could be scary. These are actually hitting a decent amount, though. And I don't actually have a potion. You're going to get, like, a little leashing issue here. Which you would think it'd be very hard to run away from them. Thus, rank 1 frostbolt, but not the one she bargained for. Where it would actually be useful. Increases chance to score a critical hit with spells. Which is actually relevant for some purpose here. Like, you know, some of your stuff does count as spells. So we didn't get any bear meat from that. I'm just obsessed with this whole idea because we're afraid of losing it. So we're doing all this to, let's say, oh, we're power leveling not just ourselves, but our pet too. And we got to keep an eye out for mining nodes because we can't get the same one twice. Like, I could literally make a fucking 1-hour video just explaining all the rules of this in great detail. I don't like kind of repeating them every single time, but people just won't know what the hell is going on. Like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Right, there's always like ways to make things easier, but my specialty is making things harder. So speaking of mining nodes, we'll get that one, and then we just have to remember generally. And I kind of tend not to linger in the same area for too long, but that would be the sort of thing I would want an add-on for. Not to help something or make it easier, but actually to make it harder. Keep track of which mining nodes I've got so I can't get them again. This might be the skittering mine thing, or actually it's not, because that was like north into the west. I keep saying I'll go back to where I found my other half, as I like to call it, but I can't seem to get there without getting distracted by the desire to feed stuff. These are actually a little bit scary because, of course, all humanoids are cowards because they'll run away, so... Which even includes the Forsaken for what they're worth. Just like beasts, they have no sense of... Or just like beasts, the Scourge have a sense of honor where they don't run away. They'll fight to the death. Not that you really think about it that way, but... Yeah, there's no reason to really do those. The aggro too, it could be a little messy. But you do have a certain security cushion here just with respect to, you know, having the pet now. Then again, when I really need it to, it won't pull aggro. Or you can kind of keep making it alternate. That's especially better if you are using range. Like, you have it stand over there and hold aggro. Then you shoot it, you pull aggro. Then once it gets to you, then you have it pull it back. Or I guess it's better if the pet does use ranged. You're not even kiting it. You're just managing aggro so perfectly that it goes back and forth between you two across a long distance. Or you know what I should add as another condition here is like... You know what? Maybe I'll take my chances. I should add as another condition the ability to, because if you aggro another one, I'm worried about it. Or use this to try to finish her off and also slow her down as she tries to run away like a clown. Yeah, how's that Dalaran weather doing, dude? A lot of your emotes don't have the visual feedback, I guess. It feels like the scared one is meant to. Like, we just bottle our fear up, I guess, is supposed to show. Don't other races have it where they do something like with their hands? I guess maybe not, because I'm confusing that with, like, I confuse so many things from like other expansions. Now, this is dangerous and unnecessary because one of the bears can aggro, although you can still kind of kite them a little bit. Right, like there's no reason to really be doing this. We do have a quest related to this, but it's not related to... Yeah, I think the only thing he's gonna like is meat. In fact, it even says that, doesn't it? Yeah. It's surprisingly even its own, which is maybe a true catch on the fact that wolves really are cannibals sometimes. They'll eat themselves, but only in times of total desperation. So maybe that's the lesson that we ought to learn. It's not too hard to pull aggro for now, but it will become difficult later, because a lot of our abilities in DPS are going to be predicated on mitigating stuff. So we have to be the target of attack, which is kind of weird and oxymoronic, because most people would play with the pet like that. Just, you know, let the pet tank and stuff. Okay, so these things are pretty beefy, but somehow getting their meat is just beyond our comprehension. Kill like literally 1 million of them. Like, that's all I'm trying to do is get enough of his happiness to go back to where we started, but it does make the exploring thing a little bit anxiety inducing. Like, oh, I'm kind of on the clock. I was trying to just get a good little stack. Yeah, we should totally prove our worth, and then we can show like, okay, we're so comfortable with our pet that now we can really take the next step towards training. You can't really hold it back because the amount of time it takes to get one, we're gonna die trying to speed run the meat pickups just to, you know, really farm these bears. Yeah, like how I was doing in Guild Wars, that should be a condition here too. You have to only click to move, you have to play only in first person. I just kind of came up with that on the spur of the moment while playing that. Like, I may as well try this. It was kind of fun and immersive to do. It lets you appreciate some of the character models and stuff. I guess I found out that it came out a lot later than I expected. I kept comparing it to EverQuest. Like, oh, this might have been good if it came out like a year after EverQuest. It came out way after. It came out even after WoW Classic, which is utterly ridiculous. 2005. This is my other self, the original, you know, human mage. Which I even abandoned in Wrath. Like, it went from my main to my alt. Does look pretty badass, actually. Old Vicejaw. Now, this could be a little bit scary, but we're doing it just for the bear meat, not for any other reason. We've gotten a couple rare spawns, actually, and the reason why is because we've been able to, you know, that's the benefit of, like, a dead server. You should really have the racial for this, but let's just give it a try. Or, again, this could set you up to die to it. Doesn't seem really that tanky, or it could set your pet up to die. I mean, like, don't try to be a hero, dude. Don't be a hero. Yeah, 57 crit. Oh, he's a joke. Some of them are going to have crazy abilities, too, that just going to put, like, a bleed on him that finishes him off. We can mend pet and do all this kind of stuff. 2 agility, 2 stamina. There's no rule against equipping gear out in the field. I mean, anything with any statting is going to be good. Anything green, period. So every one of these little upgrades is going to be meaningful for the long term. The one thing I am able to do that I hope I get a drop for is, like, get a 2-handed axe. We don't have the ability to use 2-handed swords yet. We don't have, you know, pole arms are going to be hard to come by. Look at him hiding behind there. We're just on a bear rampage. We're really mauling these bears. So the whole overpower mongoose bite could be like a mitigation thing. Like, oh, whenever, like, is it worth it for a melee hunter in that scenario? Hypothetically, of course not. But like, yay, I dodge you. Now I can do mongoose bite, but then they can do overpower back. So it's like you're countering my counter. In what little, you know, wing clip situation. Why are they getting lower level as you go further in? That's weird. They're level 15s back there. Kind of putting a scare in me. This whole running away thing is going to piss me off. There'll be a mitigation chain that aggroes like 5 of them. This is kind of a bad idea too. He's protecting this mining node. Yeah, see, we don't have the level advantage on our side here, so it could be tricky. To save wing clip for the end, not just to prevent him from running away like the coward that he is, but also to do a lot of on-demand damage. I just hate feeling like I'm on the clock here. Okay, okay. Yeah, and see, with the freeze, you won't even be able to catch up and do that. Like, you know, even clipping that. We missed out on a lot of Tiger's Eye and Malachite and stuff just because my inventory kept filling up. So we finally have a decent amount of bags. We still have that troll one, though, from Durotar where he gives it to you in a quest. Like, that many slots is really going to be relevant to you. My obsession with these bears is sort of unfounded. They're just not giving me anything. Let's try to work my way back up. At least we'll kill some bears on the way. I can't bear this drop rate of the meat. It's just ridiculous. Like, I'm saying, like, I should have a stack and have him be in the green and be happy, but I can barely keep him happy in the first place, even when the only thing I'm doing is killing the bears in the first place. So this obviously isn't a very good way of doing it. I'll try to avoid giving it wolf meat in general, not just the wargs themselves. At least there are a good amount of bears, but the drop rate just isn't good. I don't even want to be in this part of the map right now. Like, I'm too far south. I didn't even explore the top sufficiently. That's going to be a loyalty level shortly. Or is it actually a level? Huh. Yeah, only level 13. These are spread out by a decent amount. This is at least a good legitimate leveling zone for now. It's not like we really feel over leveled, but I do want to do the barons too, so we can kind of split between those. We can also do Stone Town Mountains. Like, there's so much good overlap that I'm going to do. I'm not going to just stay in one zone. That's the whole fun of it, in fact. Yet people have the audacity to complain like, oh, you know, there's not enough quests to level from 1 to 60. I don't know when people said that, but maybe when the game first came out, there were a few less quests in the later zones. Like, you couldn't go to Silithus, obviously, because there was just nothing there. But for the most part, I don't think that was really much of an issue. If you do all the quests between all the 50 to 60 zones, between the Plague Lands, between Winter Spring, between, you know, any of the other things, even Ungoro doesn't get you, you know, that far, but there's no way, because some of these zones can push you further. Anybody who would say that didn't do some of the zones. Uh-oh. It's not a good decision. We'll fight plenty of bears on the way back. You have a bear meat there, so let's just try to keep some of it in our back pocket here. Now we'll go back to town, we'll sell this stuff, and by the time we do that, he'll be hungry again. Like, I wouldn't even mind buying it from a shop, but I don't know if this one has it. I think there were a couple butchers in the Durotar and stuff that would totally sell you that. And see how nice it is that they have stable masters everywhere you go? That's almost the sort of thing like, you know, druid trainers only in Darnassus. Or you know what's going to happen? I'm going to go to an encounter with my pet at super low health and not even be paying attention to it. But then again, it shouldn't be tanking much in the first place. I barely pay attention to my own health, and you expect me to pay attention to its health? Has a way of lulling you into a false sense of security, just that you're able to, you know, do things so easily for a while, and then all of a sudden you'll get schlonged by something. There'll be a Son of Aragorn. See, this is a great way to keep track of that. Just if there's any humanoid at all, now you'll be on alert. I like how casually we just see it there, right by the sepulcher. Tell one of the guards, you know, do your job. But they do kind of pat around the whole zone. Like, that could be it right there. I was going to say we shouldn't be allowed to even read what they are, and we should have to look at them ourselves. But that's maybe not pertinent. I mean, that's the whole point of being a tracker. Yeah, how would you know the exact name of it? Some of these things you're seeing for the first time. You might be able to tell what kind of thing it is. Like, is it a worgen? Is it a, you know, is it a human or something like that? So we have 2 of the bear meat. That should last us for a little bit. I just want like a stack of maybe 5. Let's get like 5 and then cap it off with feeding it 1 extra, or like as soon as it becomes unhappy here, which is pretty much guaranteed to do. This doesn't even feel like grinding because we're doing it for our pet, so it's a good psychological trick. You'll end up just getting the 60 without doing any quests just because of this. This will turn into the whole boar thing from South Park. I don't like how it misrepresents such a base thing about the game, though. Like, it's not like they didn't know that, but they just wanted to portray it that way. I get it, but... Or I like how Hearthstone uses that as a card, and by like it, I mean I hate how they, you know, make it in such a trivial thing. There's so many made-up characters and cards for Hearthstone that there really didn't need to be when you have already so much good lore to work with, but he is tanking that all on his own, which I shouldn't let happen, but I also don't want to tank too ferociously here. Like, maybe that's a bad idea. Having a potion in your back pocket is always a nice thing, but I guess I just don't have that ability. Come on, you can't outlast my wing clip DPS, surely. We're gonna have like that whole Batman vibe that I was talking about. Like, our pet can, like, we go into an encounter with like 3 things and our pet tanks 1 and we distract one with a bomb, we stun it, and then we use like a trap on the other. And so like you have all these one-off little things you can do, but you have to do them strategically because if you mess it up then you're just dead. So there is this sense of all this different utility that you have. We really can't keep this at a great threshold. Couple pieces of meat. If only I wasn't so cockblocked by the fact that the bear meat is probably all we can feed it, in keeping with our principle of not wanting to feed it the wolf meat, because I don't know what other beasts are going to be here. That's pretty much the main source you're going to have. Yeah, we stay away from the bowyer. We don't want to support their business. Protest. Vote with your wallet, because we have such a strong belief against using range stuff for what arguably is an irrational reason, but like something bad happened to us, but that's not a fault of the, you know, don't blame the weapon, don't blame the gun, blame the user. Leave this here. We're running out of sort of just net space that I can even use, or I should just make more bandages, period. Kind of rude to do this when you're still engaged in the shop with them, though. Like having your weapon out in a town in Skyrim, like they'll say stuff, please don't burn anything down with that. Or I feel like sometimes they would say that even if you're not. I could sell those, but I don't really need to as long as it's a stack. Just trying to make as much room as possible, I guess. We could cook some stuff, but I barely have anything in the first place. Or maybe I should test that theory. But I don't know how I should like count the minutes, right? So we can totally cook something. Or wait, I guess I can't. Wait, oh, my thing's not high enough. Smoked bear meat. At least it's relevant to what's in the area. That's kind of how they determine things in a more RP sense. Right, like they're not just giving you random recipes anywhere for no reason. Fall damage could do me in at some point. I like how they go super speed mode too when they're trying to catch up. They won't move that way if they really need to like be able to attack something and save your life, but or like when they're trying to kill you out in the wild, they won't necessarily go unrealistically fast like that. Yeah, let's just go back up to the top. We have a little bit of meat in the thing, but look at how many times this cycle is going to repeat itself. Now, it is going to be annoying. Either we're going to have to buy them or we're going to have to... I guess we're just too low level, right? We could always feed it lower level stuff, and so we could kill stuff much easier and just take care of that, but... That's 3. That should be good enough to last a while. Whenever you see... It gives you incentive to kill stuff that you otherwise might not kill, right? Like, we don't have a quest for the bear, so I don't really have a reason to kill them, but... At least if I have 5, like, that should last me the whole fucking episode, pretty much. As we're going to get more, too, on top of that. I just wanted to have, like, a cushion for it. But the act of doing this will mean that I'll have to use one. So let's try to get to 5, and then we'll get the extra one. Thankfully, there are so many bears thrown throughout this zone. Still only at 3, and I'm gonna have to use one. Yeah, the undead don't sell meat. How ironic, because all they do is just eat each other, so they don't have, or eat humanoids, so they don't feel the need to. This guy Pat's super far, all the way from Tirisfal to like Brill. I used to get a lot of dishonorable kills on NPCs too, because I didn't really care about honor and stuff. What do you want? I'm running late and my employer doesn't look kindly on tardiness. That's kind of a low threshold punishment, right? Like, if you don't really care about rank 14 or whatever, just, it doesn't matter. That's one of the most time-consuming things ever. So yes, sure, it's hard to get, and time is a legitimate form of difficulty, because most things, even things like that are innate skills or developed skills, you can do like through repetition over a long period of time. But just the fact that you had to do it for that fucking long was insane. Bottled warg. We could take mercy on them and look at it like we're killing them for that reason, but it's kind of in poor taste. Or maybe, oh, that could be a case like where when you fight something of its own kind, you can't use it. It can still be there and watch the horrific event, but it won't take part, so it'll stay on passive the whole time. That's actually a good rule, because how often is that going to happen? Like, only against wolves is that going to be the case. And then we also can't feed it to it. Oh, there are bears even as high up as this. Yeah, we even have X-ray tracking, like we can see the stuff even in the buildings. I guess I didn't notice these on the way last time. I did kind of just rush through the top part. Let's just look at each of these landmarks. I mean, we got every quest that we could get from Brill, so you would think, presumably, even without trying to, some of these are going to give us relevant things. We have 4, so I really just want like 2 more in a row here. And if I get that, then the Ivar patch, or like even here they'll give us a quest. No, he's going to be tanking that one, so we have to hold aggro on this one. I guess it's acceptable to do it this way, and I'll still get the first strike on the other one to be able to pull aggro before it takes part. That's what true RP can sometimes be about, especially from a mechanical standpoint, and it often works well for a hard mode to sort of justify the hard mode conditions. You're not doing them just arbitrarily for no reason, although kind of that's ultimately true, but you're doing them because of something. You're explaining it in the world in a way that kind of makes sense. But yeah, like RP where it makes logical sense as to what you're doing, like you're doing everything for a reason. Like, why did we take up engineering specifically? I guess just to make up for our clipped wings aspect, sort of. Ravenclaw Slave, I don't think this is the one that... Oh, no, the only one he gave us to do with those had to do with, like, the really high-level ones, presumably later. We already had enough Murloc run-ins with Murloc so far, so... Or I'll even do this for my screenshot, but as we're reflecting on the memory of meeting this lovely other half of ourselves that we'll keep forever and clearly never use anything else, especially not something with range capabilities, I always make a point to try to get like each of these chests, but it is a big risk. It is nice to think about how Murlocs have such an incredible presence in the world. That's clearly not them just recycling enemies. It's to show they're almost like insects of the Warcraft universe. Like there's, well, the Silithid fill that role pretty well too, but like there's so many of them everywhere on every coastline. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's a problem that doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but they're just everywhere. Like you couldn't get rid of them even if you wanted to. You certainly see how young players could find these areas legitimately creepy between the music and everything. It was a very interesting choice to, you know, introduce it like this. Even the low-level areas feel so badass. Now, will it give me that same issue with the profile of, like, not looking at me directly? We almost need to use, like, Eyes of the Beast or some other such nonsense, which I think I had the ability to learn, but I obviously didn't do it. Eyes of the Beast, and then you'll be Eagle Eye first of all, and then Eyes of the Beast, you'll be able to like control it, like the Eye of Kilrog type of thing. You should get like the clear separation of biomes aspect. Like put it. Oh, it's actually really hard to do this. Like get it to turn around and just look at it head on. Damn, it's actually super hard. Or you can get it to stay. See, I'm even learning these basic things. Let's get it to stay here. But then just get it to turn around. Sound effects disabled. Oh shit, I did that by accident. I forgot you could even do that. Like I want to be looking at it. Damn it. I'm gonna be looking at it head on. So all it has to do is face that way. Face that way. For a second, and then I'll let you stay. That's it. Now don't move, and we'll get this nice little snapshot together. It's nice in the middle of the road as soon as you enter Silver Pine, and this is almost, you know, without the UI and everything. Yeah, now I'll put like a heart around it and stuff. And then I'll put above it, love at first bite, thumbnail creation stream to show you my genius ideas. Something like that. You don't want to see the other one in there. I think we got a pretty clean shot of it though. Look like he's trying to ruin our lovely moment. Just to kind of show like as soon as you're entering Silver Pine too. I guess I don't mind that. Because it's not like I'm gonna go all the way here and like kill stuff. I like to show everything on stream, so it wouldn't be right to, you know, sort of. It's one thing, like sometimes I'll look at my gear just in town just to sort of show, like to be able to make a character model to show that on the thumbnail, but I'm not gonna like actually go around the world and do stuff. Or I guess I could go on a different character, but then I'd have to get it. Oh shit. Yeah, he almost shouldn't be able to fight his own kind. That's the ultimate BM to the pet, is like, we're going to, if only you could eat fish. Or maybe, you know, fish do count as meat, but in certain religions and so forth, they actually don't. Yeah, you should almost do this in first person. So there's some whole island here that I really like that has nothing to do with anything. And I don't even think it has to do with, or like it might be super high level. Look how many Murlocs, man, you don't appreciate that sometimes. Thickly looking fish. Now this seems like a rare thing. 30, or is that like just a normal trend of what you get in the undead areas? I'm not like super familiar with that actually. I wouldn't want to feed my pet that anyway, even if they were willing to eat it. This is always a bad idea. Just see if like maybe there's a chest or something. Feels like a shame to just ignore the area, but I don't think they have any interest in giving me quests to do these. Yeah, give us another mod. My nightmare at mods. Rare spawn. Oh, shit. Actually did kind of sneak up on me. I had no idea you were there. These are almost the most friendly, lively, colorful things in this area, though. Look how much it brightens it up. These don't feel scary. These feel friendly and, you know, make the area feel nicer. They don't seem to mind, really. You know, all the undeath and stuff. Even this, they're resilient enough to, you know, just ignore and still live here. Like, let's say, oh, the whole Scourge and Plague of Undeath was done just to get rid of the Murlocs and serve as a deterrent to them. Right? That was Arthas' real master plan. Like, Sargeras is trying to destroy the planet to get rid of the Titan soul inside of it. So Arthas created the whole plague and stuff just to get rid of the Murlocs because they were going to be the real big threat in the long run. But even that didn't work. So this was his ultimate failure. He sacrificed all his own people. He did the calling of Strat, all just to do that. They're just very, very resilient and adaptable. And of course, they'll be undead versions of those too, but that's not what those are. Like, Vile Fins are just, you know, normal ones. Yeah, I forget, when is like the first undead Murloc group that you see? So yeah, he doesn't want to take part. He's disgusted by the fact that I'm even doing this. I'm trying to avoid doing it, but we look at this one. We could look by the water again. I feel like I just want to at least look at every area hands-on and give it some, you know, time of day and purpose, like whether I try to get a chest from there or anything. True horde area completionist run. but I am a little bit scared of Murlocs. It's not on an individual basis. Like one Murloc, again, it sort of brightens your day. It's kind of nice. It's kind of cute, but just the number that aggro together. Like, do I really think I'm going to be able to get a chance from there? Even if, although we did get sort of a jump scare moment from behind of like, this guy does have a death wish. Like, what do you think's going to happen if you go in there? I don't see even a chest. And it'll just keep going. Like, you can follow the whole coast and there'll be one like every 5 steps. It's insane, actually. If you were to count, like, what is the most number of enemy types in the world, it'd probably be Murlocs, and it'd be pretty fucking easily. Even if you include raids in which they're not really there. Comparing them to the actual bugs in Silithid of just like the frequency of spawns, because as many Silithids as there are, they're more concentrated in one area, right? They're not as flexible as Murlocs. Murlocs are actually like most prominently seen in you know, like when they're giving the trolls a scare, like, oh my goodness, the trolls, we need help against the mighty Murlocs, they're our mortal enemy, like Thrall saves them, and that's how they make their alliance. But basically what happens is, I hate to do it to you, buddy, but we don't want to take a chance aggroing too many of these. We're sort of showing to it our dominance over these. Like, you know, oh, don't try to break away or disobey me, because we totally can completely dominate your kind, even though you are a higher level. That would be the ultimate moment of betrayal. Like, we're in a low health situation and it turns on us, which I didn't even know that much, because how often... No. How often does that really happen? That was like him wanting to help us, but we're even respecting his wishes. Like, this isn't good for you to do. It's not good for you to cannibalize your own kind, and it's not good for you to kill your own kind, even though we've killed countless trolls, like the Hex trolls and stuff on the Echo Isles. But look at how hard even that much is to do. That doesn't seem like a normal encounter. It's a level 12, level 11. I just kind of want to see what's here, but we should naturally have to fight my way through. So I go from saying I shouldn't even want to kill these at all to let's just make a point of doing it. Reminds you a little bit of the fields, like Hillsbrad Fields, where there's all that shit in between. It kind of blocks your visibility a bit, a great PvP zone. Yeah, that we're not going to have him eat. Kind of crept up on me a little bit, but it would have worked better if it actually saw me. So that's also the cushion that these extra levels give you. It not only makes stuff easier and makes it so you can potentially take 2 at a time, or at least survive 2 at a time if it comes to that. It also allows you to, you know, avoid aggroing it in the first place, so you can be a little bit more lax, which will end up getting you killed in a little different sense. Yeah, now we have nothing to fear and walking through here. Aside from the fact that the pet might turn on us because of how much of a clown we're being and killing all of its own kind. This would be the... Yeah, how would that work in... Well, like, yeah, you're going hunting for, let's say, something while you have a pet with you of the same kind. Even if it's not helping you do the hunting, it's just... You know, pets can be, like, ridiculously loyal like that, where they don't even care. Okay, let's do this because I'm too lazy to eat food myself, although I guess I could eat the... Well, I'd have to cook it first, which I would be allowed to cook out in the field. That would be the one exception, but you would have to have flint and tinder, and you would have to actually just, you know, make a little campfire. That almost makes like a justifiable place to rest, but... We exhausted like all the potential resting places in Durotar. I'm not sure where here would actually make sense, since we already exhausted the Sepulcher. Normally it's better to like do it in the middle of an episode, not or like you spend an episode there and then you do it the next time, not like as soon as you, or at the end, not as soon as you get there. Yeah, always these weirdly placed quest NPCs in the middle of an area filled with enemies. Escorting Erland, or at least this is a relevant one to do. The wolves won't leave, and they... Yeah, does it bother you then that I have a wolf with me? You don't mind that? You gotta face your fear, just like we face our fear by meeting with the undead. That's the whole reason why we're in this area, let's say. And they won't... That's why I come so close to dying so many times, of course. It's on purpose. And they eye me evilly every time I step foot out the door. They must be incredibly hungry to think I'm worth eating. I have to report to my teammate yeah, of course, only we can eat our own kind. To my teammate, the Deathstalker Rain Yorick, and to get to Rain, we need help against those wolves. Oh, these are the ones we were sent to look for anyway, right? Please escort me, and there are a lot of wolves out there, so we'll have a better chance if you have friends who can help. Yeah, this is the only friend we need, but he can't help, or he doesn't want to. Escort him through the wolves. That's Ogre Short Sword.
Embrace the shadow.
Yeah, that's more like a dagger, dude. Let's get to the others. Keep an eye out for those wolves. Now, this would be one of those where they either respawn or they sort of, you know, aggro specifically for the quest. So the fact that I cleared some of them out was a really nice factor. In fact, some of these quests can be suicide because they'll spawn an unreasonable number on top of what's already in the area. Be careful. They look like they hide among the trees. Not really at all, but this is going to be dangerous, or he'll just keep going and aggroing more. So even using a bandage could be a bad idea. Is my wolf going to have to come to my aid and save me? Because this could be bad, dude. This guy's just going to be a magnet for them. Like, oh no, I'm afraid of the wolves. Meanwhile, I'll just walk right fucking through them. Like, I got to let him tank it then. I don't care if you die. I'll let him aggro one and then I won't even fight it. Or wait. I guess I'll give him credit that he... Yeah, I don't tank for you. Only my pet gets that luxury. Yeah, let him tank it. I don't even care if he dies. Like... Okay, we didn't take any damage from that, though, so we should pull aggro now. Spam this, but at least you're utilizing it. See, that's how I would use my pet, but you shouldn't. Just out of respect, we're trying to not play like that for the pet. At least now the bandage cooldown is almost there, too. You're trying to tell me he's going to walk in this direction. He's not going to walk along the safe path. He's going to walk towards them. Like, what a clown. Or can I use that on him, too? Or he's just kind of healing automatically. We both can kind of take one, so neither of us should be taking too much damage. Of course, our pet just doesn't want to be a part of this whole situation. Trying not to waste too much mana on the wing clips, because even as much as it can be a little good bonus damage thing, it's not really necessary to that extent. So he's very close to dying, and it just doesn't want to come on us even at that point with a huge crit. Use that on myself. The mana isn't too terribly important, but now it's going to aggro like 50 together. Like, is this guy serious, dude? He's going to go into there. Oh, this could be bad. Oh my god. You're going to have to fight like 3 at once. I do have the bombs. I can spam the bombs, but they don't really do that much either. Are you going to help me if I do this? You're not going to help me. Hello? So we won't aggro those ones behind. What an absolute clown-faced idiot, dude. It's one that is one of the most annoying escort things ever. Like, he's not even making a point to... They always do that too, but sometimes they'll just spawn in like in front of them. Like, oh no, there's a band that's ambushing us. We're almost there. Okay, so this also ties into the other quest.
Trust no.
We made it, thanks, Rygor. I couldn't have gotten here without you. You actually could have easily done it, but you want to take the most dangerous route. It's good to see you. What is your report? Nice ambush there. Not actually part of the quest. And of course, this chick doesn't feel like helping at all. Yeah, this would be totally a safe, wonderful house to sleep in. Actually, it legitimately could be, but not when there's this many enemies around. Massive wolves are to the east, and whoever lived at Maiden's Orchard is gone. If I am excused, I'd like to check on Quinn.
What is it?
He's going to go load up his Twitch stream. Playing Diablo 4, probably. My brother and I are on a vital mission, but we are holed up in this farmhouse. The Deathstalkers need your help. You found us, and not a moment too soon. What? What happened? My brother Quinn was badly hurt. Hello, Quinn. How are you faring? Oh, we could watch that whole scene, too. My brother Quinn was badly hurt. In fact, let's rudely interrupt that. Try to take better care of yourself, Quinn. We were lucky this time. Wait, how was it his fault? Who are you talking to?
What now?
Is he just imagining it? Wait, where is Quinn? Wait, there's nobody here. Huh? This is like a scene that you're not meant to see or something. Who is Quinn? What the fuck? They just can't get over their loss. We know how you feel. I'm still thinking about my raptor all this time later. What is going on with that? Yorick is talking to Quinn. Hello, Quinn. How are you faring? Try to take better care of yourself. You were lucky. Huh.
Speak quickly.
Escort, or maybe he just despawned once he talked. Thank you for the aid. I feared that Erland was overcome by the dangers of Silverpine. With your help, I see that he is not. Although Quinn's wounds are mending, who the fuck is Quinn? I want to get a report to the High Executor Hadrick. Yeah, my theory wasn't even just a joke. It's more plausible, the fact that he just took out his phone. High Executor Hadrick as quickly as possible. It has information that is vital to the Forsaken occupation of Silverpine. Bring the Deathstalker report to High Executor Hadrick at the Sepulchre.
Our enemies abound.
Wild Hearts. My brother Quinn was badly hurt by the ghoul, Ivor the Foul, and I don't know if he will heal properly without magical aid. Although I'm not an apothecary, I do know that our apothecaries can make healing potions from the discolored hearts of wargs. We should have several of those from what we just did. Gather such hearts and take them to Apothecary Renfarrell at the Sepulchre to the south. Then return here with a potion. Why not just make us kill the Ivor the Foul in the first place? Gather such hearts, okay. You can find plenty of wargs between here and Malden's Orchard to the east. Bring 6 discolored warg hearts and bring them back. 140 to 180. Which is about the appropriate amount, yeah, of what we'd be using anyway. Which still isn't bad by my standard. Seems so tempting to use that, but we just can't. Let's just fight through some of these, I guess. Let's actually check what's in the barn. Yeah, this seems like an inappropriate place to rest as far as like a leaving off point, but maybe it's not because it's safe in the house. So you could say there's always going to be enemies around everywhere anyway. So I guess that is acceptable, right? Unless these guys kill me. And so they already owe me a favor for rescuing them and finding them, so that would count. Like they owe us a favor rather than us having to owe them a favor for sleeping there in the first place. So these I don't even have to do. Leather gloves, which could be an upgrade, almost. It's gonna be some random elite in a place. What the fuck? That was my pet taking some sort of weird pathing. But unlike that clown, we won't just run right into the wolves. And of course, this chick won't help us in a million years. Getting dazed. I don't really understand what happened there. Can you not do this, dude? Yes, of course, leashing. The only thing I'm leashing is my pet, dude. Fuck this. Yeah, he totally took some weird pathing. Even when he's on passive, he's still being a troublemaker.
No chance.
We gotta actually do the voice pet commands. Talk to it like it's our actual pet. Do like the Pokemon and me thing that they did for the whatever, some of them. But how exactly did that happen? I guess they are just that close together. So if you were wanting to go in the barn, you probably just shouldn't do it. That's really tough, actually. Or this guy's going off on his own a little bit. They really shouldn't aggro together. It's just a bad luck situation, I guess. Sometimes slowing them down will actually hurt you, though, too. Like, you'll be expecting to run away, but then it'll keep them in an area where something pats through, or there have been some instances where that's actually a bad thing. And there's even a pack coming out there too. So you could have aggroed like 5 of them together. But the pet did hold up pretty well, actually. So once that guy goes, at least we should only pull maybe 2 at max. Or even just 1. So yeah, when I do it, it doesn't aggro anything. Or rather, what you should really do is make it stay sometimes. Right, like why am I going in with it? That's the biggest mistake you can make. Every time you're going in to pull something, because we're not going to pull it with range stuff for the most part, just let it sit back and then we'll pull it to you. Also in keeping with the idea of doing the whole first strike idea. Now these two reasonably could aggro together. Or we could try to get the Pat. But then this could lead to us getting all three of them. We can just wait. I kind of just want to see what's in the barn. It does feel kind of weird with it doing that. I feel like that's not something people use very much. So he almost caught up to our level just in doing all this. He went from 10 to 14 super fast. Whether the other one aggroes or not, I don't even care. We could take it. I mean, I guess that's the difference in our level range too, as to why he aggroed so many. Right? You'll go through an area expecting like I'll tiptoe between the enemies, but it won't matter because yeah, he's kind of in timeout. Don't you dare aggro that many things again, dude. When I'm not even telling you to attack, you're on passive, but you're still clowning around. You want to feel important. So our punishment is putting ourselves at risk just to make it count. Look how fast he runs back in there too. And by the time we do this, they will totally all respawn the first ones. This is what can sometimes happen. Like when you're waiting for the racial. Like I shouldn't have even done that because you should save it for what's going to be in there, inevitably. This dude's going to come padding out, which I don't know whether that's him or not. Yeah, if I get respawns behind as we're leaving this place, it's going to be a trouble. So I don't know how long we have. Or if there are like 2 or 3 things together in there, it's going to be a big problem. Okay, there are 2 of them. Where's my Pat? Oh, when you say stay too, he's still staying there like... even after I caused it to attack, he went back to staying. Or maybe I did it again, I forgot. That is definitely a good technique that we have learned. It's not just our pet that learns things, it's we that learn things from our pet. The full circle of life. We got to go a little bit quickly though, because you know, we sometimes underestimate the respawns and you can get caught out in a very annoying spot. Oh shit. I also can't destroy stuff willy-nilly. Oh, that is Ivar the Foul. I don't know if I have a quest to take care of him or what. So I would want to wait sort of for the racial, but where is he now? You're totally allowed to do that. And at least now we can pull them to a certain distance where arguably you should be able to run away. Let's just focus fire on this. And this guy's already almost dead, so that's fine. So between the 2 healths that we have to tank from, you might think, oh, you know, this sort of thing is so much harder on another class, but it's really not because you wouldn't be handicapping yourself necessarily. Although I would kind of want to do a run where I do that too. Like, I love doing these sort of minimalistic classes in RPGs where you take away some of your capabilities. Doing a little bit too much for me. If he has like some kind of finisher instant damage ability, that would be very scary. Putting our life at risk for the Pat, which you sometimes can't even control because, you know, it's obviously just going to be where it's not going to pull aggro at will because we don't have a taunt ability. In a way, it's kind of good that it works out like that, where, you know, one of the abilities of a lot of these pets is going to be a taunt, and so I wouldn't want to use that anyway, ever. So this one suits us just perfectly. I didn't know that actually going into it. I don't know a lot of things actually about this class and the pets. So much so that I didn't even understand when we'd be able to feed it. But yeah, see, we'll totally let it die in doing that if we keep it in a spot. But that is a great technique. Like, have it like watch the rear for me as I go forward. So we'll know if something respawns or something goes wrong. There's so many strategic ways you can actually do that. Never seen so many wargs as when this dude is walking around. He is not only a magnet for them, but he's literally walking right through. As Christian Bale would say. What is this camp about? This is not to do with Murlocs. I almost don't like to keep looking at these. You should almost just have to do it by memory. Or like I'm kind of exploring every little subzone anyway. But, you know, you should incidentally just end up doing them. So if there was a quest for that, at least now we know where he is. Aragul's Folly. This is the same camp we were just at. Let's try to get a little more of these. We'll just keep doing them as we go along. Or you at least shouldn't be able to feed the pet in combat, as if that even matters. You can heal it in combat. So let's go back to town. See, now if it drops a green, I'll feel bad because there's nothing. I guess I could just pop this. There's nothing I can really use to clear my inventory. Because now we're a little ahead of the meat curve. We just keep it at 5 and we keep getting more. Yeah, it'll spoil by the end of the episode. So that's really annoying though, because of how short these episodes are. By the time you farm some out, it's already going to become an issue, or it'll give me an incentive to spend money on it, which was really more of an issue here than I would expect, because I don't remember having that much trouble learning spells at a low level, and I certainly didn't farm too much in the other runs. Or like, I guess just and I wasn't even as thorough and explorative. This could have to do with like the Aragol's Folly remedy thing, right? Valgan's Field. What is over there in that direction? Or this is where the skittering dark stuff is going to be, right? It's going to be like a mine. We're back up to 5, so even if I did this, I wouldn't be able to take the meat for now. It's not that hard to do, it's just... it's going to be a case where we can't give them old, stinky meat that we have saved up, which is, you know, turning it into a survival game on top of so many other things. We don't have to compete with other players for resources, but I can make my own resources a little maybe harder to manage. So now I should naturally switch back to beast tracking, I guess, even though I'm scared of the Son of Aragol and stuff, just to deal with what's going to be the spiders now in the mine and stuff. I think at least that's what it is. At least once we learn Feign Death, we'll be in a lot better shape. Or like Aspect of the Cheetah, but that'll actually hurt us because, you know, we'll get hit from a range and get dazed unnecessarily, which was the biggest clown thing that people would do in PvP. Like, oh, I'm playing a warrior, and surely they're not going to have the presence of mind to shoot me with a bow, or to, yeah, I'll end up this playthrough having used a bow and gun more on my warrior than on this, just because, you know, obviously playing it to level 80 and PvP and stuff, you would have used it a fair amount, whereas on a hunter, I've only ever used it on the 1 to 25 thing. Like one of my original characters when I first started playing the game, a 25 orc hunter, just because, you know, it's really not something I pursued and I don't remember it too well. But that's the only thing that sort of ties this experience together. Like, the only other one I would have to do that is a druid. That was my literal first character ever, because it seemed like such a cool thing, right? Like, just...
What is it?
You get to kind of experiment with every mechanic. Oh, look, she respawned. She got new stock on the other thing there. The boots. Now I could get 3 of them when I don't even need 2. Or yeah, you should have to buy 2 pairs of each boot. Another rule, like 1 for each foot. There's no point in keeping that. Potion I almost don't even want. Make sure I read all this flavor type stuff. That's Stalker Mission Report. Agents Rain Yorick, Quinn Yorick, and Erland McCree. Oh, they should change this name too, like how maybe that's why they made it a K. They can't be McCree named after whatever somebody in the company accused of some real life evil behavior, like they made McCree Cassidy. Like, McCree is just a name. It doesn't have to be like that. That's always the credit that people give, like, to the H guy when it comes to, like, a certain hand gesture or something or whatever. Like, you're giving somebody almost too much power. Like, oh, a bad person did a bad thing. You know, anytime anybody does anything associated with a symbol or whatever, a word, now you're giving that person ownership of it and too much power over it. So that's exactly what they would want. Or, you know, it's giving them too much credit. Like the OK symbol. Oh, the OK symbol is associated with something bad, let's say. So then you can't do it anymore. But it's just an OK symbol. It's the context that matters. Right? Like, oh, the big bad people in history used a knife and fork, too, to eat food. That means you can't use a knife and a fork or you're just like them. That's the kind of juvenile thinking that goes into it, but somehow people actually buy that sometimes. Primary mission is to perform, which he failed to do miserably. Oh, perform reconnaissance through northern Silverpine and determine threat levels of wildlife and Scourge. So the threat level is moderate, but the clown level is high, so it makes it seem worse than what it is. they're like doing padding. Like they want to make it seem more dangerous than what it is. So he's walking right into the threat just so they can allocate more resources to it. Or just so I can do their job for them. Agents commence sweeping, ending significant Warg presence, or finding. Recommend hunting squads dispatch. Now this text isn't the same as like what you use as the overall Warcraft text, right? I should almost find out what this one is. Do like a little thumbnail page like with how I did the Skyrim text one for Adrienne Avenici, like my favorite dynamic moment, how she died to the vampire. Apparently that the random vampire attack on Whiterun. Apparently that's super common, but it at least shows you the immersive nature of permadeath playthroughs. It's not just permadeath for me necessarily as a player, but it's also for every single character in the game. So like now we never get to see her again, and there's like a cool little dynamic text or dialogue response that the person she works with in the blacksmith shop says, "Oh, now we have to get it from Sniff, the Khajiit caravans. We have to buy it there." It should almost raise the prices of them too. Agents commence sweep. Recommend hunting squads dispatched to reduce this threat, which is, well, we're not like our own little squad between these two. Or yeah, maybe this should be the AFK one, or I'll have other ones eventually too. But it was kind of just exciting because this is like my first WoW art ever in whatever years of time I played it before, I streamed it before. It's just kind of surprising. Same thing with Hearthstone. Like I went out of my way to make some pretty notable ones just because of how long I didn't have any art for it in literally years of streaming it. It's kind of unbelievable. Yeah, that could be the AFK one, and I guess this could be the intro one or whatever. This kind of does represent the series in a way, because that's sort of the whole point of it in part. Is just like, oh, Alliance player plays as the Horde for the first time. Although I guess some people might mistake this is almost a Night Elf. Look at that booty, too. So we go, continue reading the flavor text. Just, yeah, imagine if something crashes or whatever in the middle of a high intense combat moment. We found, where was it? Dispatch to reduce the threat. Undead gnolls were found at the farm Steading, dubbed the Dead Field. Oh, they did do other stuff just than what we did, though. Their purpose of the farm is not known, though their movements and level of readiness suggest imminent military action. In the time that we were found among the gnolls. In the time they were observed, no notable leaders were found among the gnolls. It's assumed they await the arrival of leadership or reinforcements. Continuing the sweep, our agents were detained at Ivor's farm. Ivor, most of his family and workers had succumbed to the Scourge and become its minions. Our agents were attacked, and although successful in defeating their ambushers, they sustained serious injuries, particularly Agent Quinn. But they didn't kill Ivor himself. A defensive position was taken in Ivor's old house, while Rain kept watch for future attacks. Yeah, you're not going to be able to deal with those three like we aggro together like a clown. Especially if you have this guy walking towards them like how he just goes straight through. Erlin continue. Yeah, and literally she just keeps watch because she doesn't even help if you pull one in front. Elrin continue the reconnaissance mission. It's like if you have a security guard, like, oh, your one job is to stop anybody from robbing the place or something, but then some other event happens and they won't help with it. Like somebody gets hurt or somebody trips and falls, like, oh, that's not my job. Elrand was that, like, the wrong interpretation of you had one job. Elrand was then pinned by wargs in a northern orchard, only escaping with the aid of another Forsaken agent. You could call me a troll, dude. Like, sure, I'm still working for them, but that agent is the bearer of this report. It should be noted that this report bearer was instrumental in not only the success of our mission, but also in the defeat of Ivor the Foul. Wait, we didn't even mean to do that, though. Wait, did I actually have to do that for the quest without even knowing it? The Death Stalker's report. You never had to kill Ivor. I just did that on my own. Oh, we had to kill the wargs for this anyway. Right, like that's almost how I should do it. Just do random stuff in the zone and eventually you'll do every quest. Or like try to remember based on picking it up. But that's going to be hard to do, especially, you know, you'll have quests from a while ago that you just get around to later. Their purpose of the farm. Okay, we read that. Was the defeat of Ivor the Foul, which didn't happen technically, canonically. the rescue of Erland and the deliverance of this report. We extend our gratitude and recommend the command acknowledges this individual with awards befitting such meritorious conduct as displayed in the field. Deathstalker Yorick, mission leader. At least he gives us the proper respect. But the biggest thing is just the fact that we got to get to that friendly mark to be able to go in the Undercity, which is, imagine if they actually made you do that. But it is like totally an old school RPG trope, like to have to earn stuff in a more conventional way, or to have to earn it at all. Am I right? So who are we even turning that into? I don't even know. Possibly somebody underneath who I can't see because of the stupid fact of all the humanoids that we're tracking. Is kind of overloading our senses.
I am forsaken.
Dead fields we didn't do yet.
Our enemies abound.
But yeah, that's the only way you should be able to figure out what you have to do. You get to read the quest once, and then you have to go here to see it. But I'm not going to be that persnickety. Discover the fate of Deathstalkers. I hadn't accounted for the level of Scourge presence we've seen in Silvervine Forest. But he was mainly complaining about the wargs. Nor for the troubles our Deathstalkers have had in their scouting efforts. Your aid on the Deathstalkers was invaluable, and you will be commended. 50 rep. Speak with Ren Farrell. While you were out helping the Deathstalkers, Apothecary Ren Farrell sent you a summons. He did not give me details. This is almost like what your class trainers do at the beginning. They left this little scroll for you. Wanted to speak with you about the wolf hearts you had given him. Wait, I thought I was still doing that, though. Or maybe I did the same thing for another quest, too. He is here. We still got to bring you more stuff, though, but I guess I can do this in bits and pieces.
What is it?
Yeah, we have the hearts I haven't given you yet, or maybe I forgot. Very good. There's a matter regarding the wolf hearts you brought to me earlier that demands our attention. The wolf hearts you acquired suggest a quality unseen in similar specimens. There's a toxicity to them that should be deadly to the very wolves in which their hearts beat. It's quite incredible then, and we must study it further. I kept a few samples of the hearts you acquired. Take them to my colleague, Apothecary Zing. You will find her in Undercity. I love these ones because that means I just don't have to worry about it right now. Right, for a super long time, because we're not even welcome there yet. Let me sell all this stuff, or no, I was gonna say that, but I guess I can cook maybe some of it, and we'll just sell off the meat for somebody else to eat it. So clearly we live with a clear conscience, or out of total respect for them, we could just do away with it altogether. Backpedaling even indoors while RPing. But this is pretty worth doing because you can I genuinely like that. The undead houses in areas that are supposed to be creepy have less creepy ambiance than, although even this does. Literally, that house outside Orgrimmar had the creepiest music of all, which means any house could potentially do that. It was playing like this really weird, distorted music, which kind of fits with some of the interactions, like the Goldshire house, you know, where the fucking kids are worshiping Cthulhu or something. He's getting hungry looking at all this warg meat, but we will not subject him to that. You should almost sell this to an appropriate NPC, though, too. You can sell this food to somebody later. Like, it's really shitty, too. As part of the inn.
Be quick about your business.
Yeah, I also don't change my heartstone anywhere. Like, just, we keep it as a memento. In fact, I won't even use it ever, but I like how it starts in the starting zone and then you can never set it back there. Right, once you change it, there is no NPC, obviously. There is no inn at the starting zone. So we have to get a couple more Warwick hearts. Let's just think about our general pathing here. We want to go here and do the spider quest. This one is obviously we're not welcome there. It doesn't even tell you the name of that. It just says the Shining Strand. Yeah, this was kind of a good segue to the undead area. Just, there is no Tauren area, obviously. It overlaps with the Barrens, so that's sort of the unfinished nature of the Horde areas, and that's part of why, obviously, the Barrens was so ripe with fucking trolls in chat. Not just because the average person playing the game was maybe 10 years old, even though it was teen or whatever rating, and not just because the trolls actually go there to level from Sen'jin Village, but, you know, from the shared starting zone. But it's the fact that it's a triple zone, which the Alliance doesn't have to deal with because Night Elves get their own, and then the humans get their own, so only dwarves and gnomes share them, which is theoretically how the horde was probably supposed to be, but I guess it makes up for a little bit. We're gonna run into a son of Aragorn while we're doing this shit. It makes up for it a little bit just in the simple fact that you're able to, what do you call it? Oh, just the fact that the Barrens is so big, but we should try to get some of this meat back. Let's just check out these other two areas here at the top. So that'll be, fuck. Yeah, totally fall damage could be one of the scariest things, but it's really not. Or I'll have some engineering parachute to get out of there. I mean, I'm so used to having slow fall as a mage, so I won't even expect that to be an issue. Or as a rogue, you get it like... Oh, we did get a little bit of rest from even that. You do get a little bit when it comes to... Wait, what is this? This is a random camp. If there's a chest, I feel inclined to go there. We do still need Warwick Hearts, which I don't know if these will give you them. So check out the farm, and I'm pretty sure this is like a mine containing spiders. How exactly I know that, I couldn't even tell you, because he'll sit these encounters out, which is fine with me. I wasn't killing them just for the heck of it, or just to escort that clown. I was doing it to actually complete this quest too without really even paying attention to it. I like doing that for some quick finisher damage, because there is no other way to do it besides that. It's possible these ones won't even drop it. Yeah, we'll check this area for which I don't even know whether I have a quest or not. And then I'll check the... The problem is I'm going to have to keep going back to town every 5 seconds, or I can be more selective with what I loot now, just because, again, I like that condition a lot. Like, you can't just drop stuff. You can't just destroy stuff. You have to find a fire at least to do it. Ferocious Grizzly. Don't do that shit. But yeah, you're supposed to put like the hardcore tag, but then people might be just as likely to grief you as if there even are any people, but and you have to do like some kind of weird Discord. Oh, fuck. I shouldn't do that. Some weird Discord type of thing. Yeah, we need one of the repair bots just to sell stuff to. That was the real convenience of it. Being an engineer, but obviously not in vanilla. We did kill Ivar, but that wasn't something he said that you had to do as part of that quest. Uh-oh. Aggroing multiple things together is a nightmare, and we already had the pet cause that problem for us because, yeah, now he should be rested because he didn't even factor in what happened last fight. And he's going to aggro one of his own kind, or they have a truce. Look how close he is. That totally should have aggroed too. I like how yours just shrinks down too. Or is that because it's a different kind? But I guess it's really not. Are you fucking kidding me, dude? I'm trying to get that guy so bad. Fine, you deal with that. I'll deal with this. Since you can't deal with this, apparently. You are tanky enough where it's fine. In fact, it's going to start to have more health than you before too long. 5 out of 6, so we need one more. Maybe this time around I won't even bother doing the spider thing. I'll go and then I'll go back again. Or I just have to be smart about my space and I can kind of do whatever I want. So I still have 5 of these. As soon as we get to yellow, I'll do it again. These ones clearly drop what I need them to drop. Or I should at least discover the outside of the mine. Orcish peons and undead little, the equivalents lost to spiders. Like, that's what always takes over the mines. Or they must just be so gold rich they don't care because that's such an important resource. Obviously, according to Warcraft. Maybe I just got the less badass version of the wargs. Is that really how small they are on the inside? Or I know it shrinks yours down sometimes, but this seems like a little excessive. You should not be bigger than your own pet. We don't even need the stringy wolf meat, so we still have 4 slots. Let's be super selective about them. Isn't this just the same place we were just at? A nice sneak attack from inside the bushes. This guy's a low rank bronze League of Legends player, understanding the little faded bush mechanic. Yeah, I used to do that a lot as Kale back in the day. Remember when Kale was actually a good early game character, and then I come back years later to see how much they fucking ruined it Like, okay, it's one thing you want to change the character, you want to nerf the character, but no, you want to do a total 180 with the character and make it do the exact opposite of what it did before. Like, it was a great early game champion, now it's a great late game champion. There's hundreds of champions in the game, or like almost 200, and you couldn't just balance it out and say, there's plenty of others to fill the late game slot. You don't need to do it like this. We already take care of Ivar. Now, how much you want to bet there's going to be a quest to do that too? But he's already giving me credit for having done it. Like, you know, he already said we beat him, so what would be the point? So where exactly is this potential mine area? We ended up just right back at the house. I actually think I will give myself permission to rest here because this area is going to take super long. Like, we've basically done the top half, let's say. Although it won't even be that inclusive. Yeah, let's just find where the spiders are. Yeah, sometimes you got to use the stave mechanic and not get overzealous with the... We don't kill those out of respect. Kind of a weird critter for this area. To be more like rabbits and stuff, you shouldn't really be looking for snakes here. That fits more with Duratar, so I guess we feel more at home with that. They just artificially put them here for that reason, so orcs feel, you know, more likely to come here or more comfortable. So what is this now? Or like this we could arguably kill just to put them out of their misery. Oh, these are actually going to be gnolls. Where the fuck are the spiders then? I thought this was supposed to be the spider area. It must be even further down. I guarantee you there's a mine with the spiders. Now, I haven't even been here yet, so you might say, oh, you shouldn't be able to take this. I really got to do some engineering work at some point, but this isn't even really the place to do it. I like how long he's been happy for. It's dependable. What does he go from? Rebellious to, like, defiant to submissive to dependable. Also, some sort of unspoken rule, like you have to at least loot something from this to count as the sort of skill up. You can't just do it. It should be the same thing with fishing. Like, you can't just fish to fish. You have to actually keep the thing in your inventory and then keep it there forever, too, because, like, the sickly fish, I don't know if that's... It makes sense with these areas, but it's not something I must have done a lot. See, even little flavorful things like that. You get this, so fishing in the undead areas isn't as good because everything is sick there. But then again, how did the Murlocs survive? They're not undead, so... Or like the act of eating that will actually turn you into an undead, or it'll actually kill you. In vain, which I can't even do that. That's like a big punch in the jaw. So it'll be perfect timing to be able to feed our pet too, because we'll get like an extra stack of it. We've really just cut down the whole bear population for no reason other than to appease our pet. So the warg moves up in the food chain above the bear, just thanks to our artificial health. Yeah, here we go, the skittering dark. So in a way, this feels a little bit grindy, but it's only because I'm, you know, acquiescing to the pet. It really does give you a good incentive to kill a bunch of beasts, which is sort of oxymoronic. Like, hunters and druids should be the most likely to not want to do that. I guess I could just do this one. These kind of areas, these little mini solo dungeon experiences can almost be the most dangerous. Right, you'll get in a bad spot and aggro everything. Oh, but I wasn't expecting it to be these type of spiders. These are like the normal spiders, like what you see in Elwyn Forest and stuff. I thought it was going to be like... I thought it was going to be like those ones you see in Tirisfal, like the more creepy looking ones. Although these are more like Australian spiders, right? Like the hairy ones, or some of them even look like crabs. To make a weird pet. Yeah, this game should have what what's it called? Or even Tibia should have that. There's those Ujas spiders by Venor, I think, outside. That's like one of those BM moments early game. Like, oh, every other town is nice and peaceful outside. This one has like giant elite spiders that'll one-shot you. That's a great surprise moment, I guess, if you're doing like a first playthrough permanent of the original Tibia, which you can't even play, I don't think. Yeah, it should have the whole arachnophobia mode where, like, in Grounded, like, oh, giant spiders are gonna make you uncomfortable, so Yeah, let's explore these two areas. That'll be a good jumping off point. I'm not sure what this guy is so happy about. Now he's getting too attached to us. He's getting sick of this bear meat. I used to like overdo it too. Like they'd be super happy, but then I would try to overfeed them and be like, okay, I just don't want to have to worry about it for a while. I love these little mechanics you have to manage though. Soul shards for warlocks. I can't say they're just minor things and they're not even that big of a deal, but it just gives you something to give you on one hand class identity, but on the other hand it gives you, you know, some sort of utility RPG thing to make it actually feel meaningful. You have to manage your ammo, you have to manage your, I mean, if you're a degenerate who actually uses range, but who does that, am I right? Now, I wasn't necessarily committing to using survival at the very beginning, but I guess I'm not really paying attention to the crits either. Like, you should be. How much you want to bet? There's Murlocs here too. Like, give me a little bit of water where there's not, just in principle. Oh shit, there's a lot of ore, but I could be pretty bomb rich if I wanted to. I don't even mind doing it. See, now if the son of Aragorn is out there, he's definitely gonna stand out a lot. There's a ship out there that I wouldn't mind exploring, but maybe now's not the time to do it. Or maybe now's the perfect time to do it, because if you don't, then you'll never have the... Oh, here we go. Yeah, we're going to fill up our bag. Or there's going to be some random elites on there. It's always hard to tell. Oily Blackmouth School. Actually, a good chance to fish on the coast. I'm kind of forgetting about my fishing challenge a little bit. But I like how detailed they are on the map with, like... Yeah, whenever an area has the word run in it, you probably should take its advice. Like Terror Run for... Okay, these are actually getting a little bit higher. Terror Run in Ungora. Like you're going along and there's some elite dinosaur chasing you. And it says that as if it's like commentating on your experience. That's not the name of the area. That's what people say when they go there. Yeah, we'll totally be able to auction house these oily blackmouths for fucking maximum dollar. Which I barely even feel like I need, but like we're gonna spend even on these consumable things. Like if you get it to land there perfectly. Just for the RP of it too, we should totally do that. Level 14. That still abides by the rule of 2, but even that's sort of pushing it, right? Like, there's no reason. I know people want to try to, like, oh, haha, prove something, but fuck, we're strategically dodging it. Or, like, you go to the Wailing Caverns to farm those out. I always used to love those cosmetic things. Savory Deviant Delight, Noggenfogger Potion. I would have, like, my bag full of the Noggenfogger Potions just all the time. And I would use them only selectively, like I would... Okay, we get it right in the heart of the Maelstrom here. I would just spam those to get the skeleton thing. And it gives you slow fall too, but you're already a mage, so that's overkill. Saves you from having light feathers. Oily Blackmouth. Now, does it go away, or you could just farm them here? I mean, hey, I could maybe make something myself with it. Wait, so you're trying to tell me I could just get an unlimited amount here? I didn't really do fishing much at all, so I'm not going to know a lot of stuff about that. Oh, you better not. What the fuck? It should have a limit of them, no? I'll get, like, at least a few of them. Like, this will just be here forever. Huh, I really don't remember it working like this. So literally all you have to do is get it inside of there, which is this RNG chance. Obviously, you could just keep resetting. But I do it in sort of an honorable way. Let's get like 5 of them. And then, I mean, it's a bigger incentive to go to the bank because we have so many unique things that I don't want to part with. But, yeah, our pet's happy too. We're happy. Everything's going great. Nothing could go wrong. Yeah, we'll literally do it where we have to use a Savory Deviant Delight every second. Just waste our money. Or like we do have that alcoholic challenge that I was saying, like you have to be drunk all the time under a certain condition, but I won't even say what that is. Basically, if something happens to our pet that didn't happen to the first pet, but the outcome would still be the same. Or wait, we absorbed that from even outside of it. We really sucked it in like a whirlpool. Yeah, I can't believe I'm still using this mainly because it's not a two-handed. I mean, look, dude. Look. We almost would get distracted by the fishing. Serendipity's moment. Right, just because we happen to get the 5th one. Oh, wow, they're pretty generous with these. I don't know what's in this ship. And I don't know where the Son of Aragorn is going to be, but it'll be our pet that ends up aggroing it because we're so higher level ourselves. That is very scary, though. Of course, other zones have things like that. I always talk about the one in Duskwood, like how it's just... So it's a really legitimately abandoned ship. Like, there's no enemies or anything. Some kind of lost soul type shit. Battered chest. That always puts a nice punctuation in the experience, although I don't see where exactly it is. Yeah, we're not actually allowed to track for mines. We just have to pay attention and find them ourselves, which we did get a lot in this area. That would be... Even that's not a two-handed axe. It's trolling us. Yeah, let's be very careful about this Son of Aragorn. We've had 2 run-ins with it. 2 sightings of it, at least. I mean, that's the sort of thing that really would roll you over. It would kill you. It would kill your pet. Then it would chase you down and kill you, too. And, like, your little slowdowns and shit are not going to do anything for it. As we get towards Pyrewood Village and feel compelled to do those quests, too, it's just going to be a tough moment. North Tides Hollow. Which means what? Is it like a cave? Oh, I'm really paranoid now. See how casually I was just, oh, I'm just fishing there. I'm just chilling. What is it, though? What is North Tides Hollow? It sounds like it's a structure of some kind. Okay, so we can do the Skittering Dark, and then I also wanted to check that farm on the other side here. Gonna give me some other kind of fish. This is gonna take up more space. Or it's cool to kind of see what these actually give you. Look how generous this spot is with like different kind of unique fishing ideas. Did we hit like a cap on our fishing or 150? It's starting to give us skills less, I guess. Although I say that just, okay, that's fine. 5 strangle kelp, like all this kind of stuff that I'll probably just sell because unless engineering has some need of strangle kelp, now you can run into like some scary level 13 elite shark, like how we saw there. Sand shark. I don't know what that had to do with anything. Like when we were having that nightmare moment in the Murloc camp. I always like to push the boundaries of these areas, but it can be dangerous. Like where is this even going to lead? We're behind the sepulcher. But yeah, you should totally be allowed to log out in places like this too. Just peaceful, random things. Like, really, what is the point of this? It's cool that you can do it, but... This is like some kind of shaman quest type stone. You summon something. Oh, shit, he kind of scared me. Dark Spirit Trolls. Do we find one of our own in our wandering spirit, the way of water that only we can accomplish? There's obviously some class quest, but I don't see why it's even here. Yeah, even this I like, speaking of all the class identity. Just random, very specific stuff, though, that has to do with one class and one class only. He won't even talk to me. I totally didn't even know this guy was here. He escaped my wrath as my mage, just killing every NPC everywhere in the world. Every horde town, and even dishonorable kills and just all kinds of stuff. I mean, I could chase this down the line, but now you're going to end up in, like, Pyrewood Village and aggro something in a weird spot. Like, this isn't the sort of thing... Wow, South Tides Run. Now, where's South Tides Hollow? I don't see the point in doing this. That could be a bad idea fall damage-wise. I just kind of want to see what this leads to. Then I'll swim all the way back up. Try not to have a run-in with the Son of Aragorn. We'll do the mine. Reef Frenzy, which isn't too bad, but what if there's multiple? Water is one of my big weaknesses too, even though we have learned like the way of water. Just like can be a sand shark just because it limits your mobility so much, and you can potentially end up drowning or whatever too if you're not paying attention. I like little peaceful areas like this. In fact, I did this originally, like where I tried to swim across the coast there, or something like from the hinterlands to see how far north I could go and stuff. And it does actually let you go super far, like I don't know, like around the Plaguelands and to almost where you look upon the night Blood Elf areas, which obviously weren't even there, but get a little espionage look at SFK. This just seems like a bad idea, but or like we'll somehow cause our pet to drown, which I forget if that can even happen. It theoretically should be able to happen. There's nothing even here but in before we aggro some elite, but you would think I would see it, but this is where beast tracking would be better to do this. Like, why am I even trying to do this? I guess I want to get to the end of the mountains just to see. That thing at least scares me, the sand shark, because randomly we saw it in the one area. Like, I guess it's a way to discourage you from doing stuff like this, but it wasn't like out in fatigue zone. It was literally just out like here. Even these are scary if they do come in a frenzy, like a bunch. Like, we go to the end of the mountains, and then what? Will it actually let us go on land? Only one of them. Be famous last words. It'll spawn a bunch more somehow. Or it'll call it over. Or it has those very quick attacks. They can add up quickly, but it doesn't matter. At least they have a sense of honor and they don't run away or they don't swim away. Our pet could be drowning and we wouldn't even know it. But it shouldn't happen that quickly. Imagine if we could do mitigation. Okay, get up, get up. Or he's just not going to be able to figure it out, is he? Look, I'm standing on land, so you can stand on land. Just to be sure. I like actually not even knowing that sort of stuff. So we can feed him this. Oh, it does stack over 5. So many things I've forgotten. I'll seem like I know nothing about the game, actually. Wait, what else did he drop? He's going to drop like some kind of crazy green, and I'm going to miss it. Soft Frenzy Flesh. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. There's probably just something to cook with it. But he is still dependable. He's level... Wow, look how quickly he caught up. I'm not even really going out of my way to do that either. This is totally going to be in the fucking Pyrewood Village, which means I wouldn't want to get off here anyway, but... Yeah, this is like the worst possible place, in fact. So I'll probably swim my way back up the same way I came. But like, why risk... Oh, shit. This is like to the side of Pyrewood Village. Probably the worst thing you could do. Like, I'm not even taking a chance. Let's just go back up. There's nothing really along the way of risk besides... Yeah, because those are all going to be elites. Imagine how heartbreaking that would be if he actually drowns. You would think he would have the presence of mind. He keeps sticking his head up above. But the way it looks is almost like he's going to be... You know... Like he is underwater. Like we can take a little breather here. I'm almost doing it for the RP of it too. Like mechanically, it would make sense that you have to account for his breath too. I don't see any sand sharks in the vicinity. Like a cool area that nobody's probably ever explored before. At least you don't have like Gordon Freeman breath where even his suit runs out of breath faster than I do in real life, and I don't even know how to swim. Like in like literally 2 to 3 seconds, your HEV suit goes from full breath to none. I guess the way you could explain it is like maybe all the water there is toxic and just fucked up, but he could literally take off the suit and breathe longer, but that's his combined breathing between the suit and that. Try to take a spot on land, or at least you'll see it starting to lose HP. But it is very hard to find any footing here too. In fact, he's just not able to. That'd be almost unfair, but I guess normally that you're not expected to do weird stuff like this. Come on, he's got to match your movements. His head is at least above the water. That does actually make me nervous. Or yeah, that's why you couldn't get a fish as a pet. Or like over time, you were able to get weird stuff like that, and it would just kind of fly around or something. We'll be back to the little ship wreckage, which had nothing in it besides a chest. What I'm hoping as far as the green drop is actually a two-handed... Okay, that actually caught me by surprise. Which at least it's not two of them, right? Nice little stealth thing from up above the water. The water has been my nemesis a little bit. In the mod area against the alligator. Even the alligator one's kind of silly to say that because you don't have any real need to be doing that. Don't take fall damage. Don't get hit by a sand shark. If you were actually a proper hunter and using your bow and stuff, oh, maybe you could kill the sand shark like a level 13 elite with the help of the pet, with the help of the whatever, like... And see, something like this might come in handy later. Like there'll be some cool cooking recipe that requires a reef frenzy thing or something, and you'll... But this is the sort of thing you would never be expected to do, right? Just sort of like extraneous content just to fill up the map. Like, it's cool though that they even bothered to do that. Like nobody would ever do this because what's the point? But it's not even filling up like, oh, some part of the map that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do because nothing even got filled in by that. There was that kind of cool shortcut in the Valley of Trials thing where you could like jump through and you'll end up in the South Fury River, which is kind of a suicidal thing to do here. This is the same guy. We can wave goodbye to him and then get out of here. Or if it'll even let me go up. Yeah, see, at least we did discover one of our own to make us feel more at home. They have the snakes there for the orcs, and they have this guy here for us. It was presumably a shaman quest, which seems bizarre that you would have to go here to do it. Although not any more random than like the warrior quest, summon the guy for Wind Fury, where you have to go to fucking between Hillsbrad and Altric Mountains. I forget which one is actually considered part of. I feel like it's part of Altric Mountains. That would almost scare me. Like a son of Aragorn chased me this far. They've been relentless with just these little sightings. At least I keep getting the better, you know, getting the preemptive awareness of it. But that time I almost had no idea. I was just fishing comfortably, getting the oily blackmounts, and then all of a sudden I see him behind me as I'm done. If I'd fished a little bit longer, he might have come up upon me. You might have been like, oh, nothing was close enough to aggro. But the aggro range is going to be so fucking extended. Don't you just love stuff like that? And I kind of do in a way. Like, that's a perfect... See, if you weren't a hunter, you wouldn't be able to rely on that, so you'd be even more scared. What is North Tides Hollow? Like, I don't really want to avoid stuff, because then it might come back to bite me later, but... Probably gonna sneak up from around somewhere. Yeah, you almost shouldn't be able to read them, but I actually don't mind it. You could just sense like something slightly stronger. Why am I not playing aggro now? I guess he's gotten so strong that it only makes sense. Gonna scare me, or aggroing multiple of these is a suicide thing too. Okay, let's just go back around like some kind of normal way. Damn, I'm really paranoid, actually. I've seen him twice, and I don't want to see him, like, ever again. But as long as we stick around here, we're going to see him more and more, I'm sure. Or as you get closer to Pyrewood Village and stuff. Simple breaches of the owl, which presumably are obviously better than mine. So what could I get rid of? I could eat something. I could feed him something, but it won't be enough to go away. I can't destroy anything, or arguably I should be able to destroy stuff, like... in the context of, you know, I could make my own campfire to be able to do it. Yeah, I think that's fitting. We should look at these two locations, one of which is the Skittering Dark, which would allow us to just, you know, see, every class has its own thing too. Like, okay, hunters will be able to do this to look around, but then... you know, rogues will be able to vanish. You also get feigned death. Like, what class doesn't have some kind of easy out? A mage could blink away potentially, and obviously you have a bunch of CC, Frost Nova and stuff. Yeah, let's stuff our own face for once, since we've been stuffing the wolves the whole time. Don't miss some kind of green, but I almost can't even pick anything up. Son of Aragorn in before. Scary moment. I shouldn't really skip so many things, but we're both kind of so high level. I'm impressed by how quickly he caught up. He went from level 10 to 15 in the time that I went from like 15 to 16, basically, like, because I was almost already 16, so this much. It makes some sense for the earlier levels, but that is a little more than I expected. We don't need the Warwick Hearts anymore. We don't need to worry about this. We don't really even need the bear meat because it's not going to do anything for me. Because it's going to spoil, of course. This game is very realistic like that. We could fish in the little pond there. I still never fished in that one. Or I think I did, but... Or I had the chance to, but then I ended it too quickly. Like, I assumed it wouldn't work. So you'll try something a million times and then click off immediately because you're like, oh yeah, it's not going to work again. But then you'll miss the one time that it does. Or now I won't have room to store it, so I'll have to get rid of something else. I'll have to pop the potion to, or I won't even be able to, though. To not break my rule of whatever, of having to pick each of these up. I don't know why I'm even keeping this like a memento, like it's actually valuable. Just anything that seems unique somehow, flavorfully, I want to keep. Already at full mana, and we lose it because of that, so that's almost a dishonorable thing to do. Like, I should have to make room and make it up to that at least. No, this is not Ganondorf, and it's not Twilight Princess. You're not allowed to beat him with a fishing pole, or at least distract him. Okay, don't worry about that. Yeah, just like somehow make amends to this fish that we gave up. Although I guess we didn't even get a skill up, so that maybe doesn't count. That was like way before. So we got 5 random Strangle Kelp and 5 of these. Yeah, we're totally going to make Savory Deviate Delight because that's going to be what's most important. Or you know what? It's almost like now I want the other one. What if it was a super rare one that we would have never been able to get otherwise? Which we did get a couple rare things. Like we got this purely from fishing. So we're even, you know, prioritizing cosmetic stuff somehow. Not that I went out of my way to try to get it. That was kind of like a rule-breaking moment, though. I shouldn't be allowed to do that. My own guy almost scares me. Like, oh, everything is just normal except for there's a named NPC. We did kill that rare spawn bear. I've been sort of farming rare spawns almost. Or I can totally do this just to conserve extra space. But I have to be very conservative about how I use it. These are pretty low level. I almost wanted to go to the mine, though, first. Or since I'm so close to town, I guess I could dump some of this stuff, but there's not really that much here that I can sell. So I should almost stop picking up mine stuff for a while. And I arguably wouldn't even need it too much because I can just use it to power level. You know, I have enough to get these pretty far. Or no, I shouldn't even be able to look at that. I certainly can't use it out in the wild. These don't seem particularly rare because we got 2 of them, so I can sell them. I'll sell these, Or no, I actually have to turn that in, don't I? Turn that in, sell this, sell this, sell this, sell this, sell this, sell... I don't see what purpose I'd have for Strangle Kelp, honestly. Malachite's very important because occasionally you'll need it for engineering, and you're just not going to have enough when you do. There's a lot of annoying, weird stuff that you need for engineering that almost has nothing to do with it. Like, oh, you need linen cloth for one, you know, for these bombs, or just like stuff you have to get from a dungeon, or just random things that aren't normal, that don't come. It's not as direct, right? Like with blacksmithing, you typically need stuff that you get from mining, or like with leatherworking, you get stuff that you get from skinning. Tailoring, you'll get linen out in the world. But with this, it's like there'll be just some oddities, which I'm certainly no expert on engineering, but everyone just kind of, it's the sort of thing you would say even normally, like don't get it while leveling, but then power level it once you get to 60, even if you want to do it. Which arguably could be true of anything anyway. Just do skinning and mining, save up a bunch of money from selling stuff, and then, you know, go from there.
I am forsaken.
I don't know why you would even want this shit, but That's like a bad RP breaking moment too. Like we'll sell that stuff to the dude, the other guy. Yeah, these are just like general goods that have no real context. Like the whole Skyrim vendor system. Like if only people will buy stuff. Yeah, I should have
What do you require?
sold it to him actually. Like they'll only buy stuff relevant to what they sell because they might theoretically have some use for it. My time is short, for the Dark Lady has charged me with a grave task. Good one. It's troubling to hear our Deathstalkers have failed their mission. Let us hope these failures are rare. I'll give you the potion in a moment, but here is its recipe. If those Deathstalkers find themselves in need of future aid, perhaps you can give it yourself, or perhaps they can. I'll give them the recipe so they don't rely on me for every little thing. Here's the potion to aid in Yorick's recovery. Now, if you excuse me, I have a very important work to continue. Bring Quinn's potion to Yorick at Ivor Patch. It's weird that they never required me to actually kill that guy, though. Yeah, that's almost the effect I need to use for the thumbnail, like the little pink stuff around the guy.
I haven't got.
Who was I saying I would sell the food to? Oh, like the innkeeper himself. To just sell like those two. Yeah, I even got more, or even that too. Seems kind of in poor taste to sell them the sickly fish, but that's what they deserve for being so unkind. And whenever we join them, like making us sleep on the floor and stuff, like they can have their stinky fish that smell almost as bad as they do. So our character doesn't necessarily like the undead, but we certainly are tolerating them. Concoct a potion for Igor, so we can go turn this into them there. And then we want to go all the way back to this spider area. And I do want to check this little farm here, but I almost wanted that to be the last thing because it's so like on the way and just on the main path. Yeah, now I shouldn't have to worry about getting any more food. So I spent a lot of time at the beginning just doing that. So we'll get almost to level 17, but at least now it feels a little more appropriate. And what I might actually do, just making a plan, at the beginning of next time we can say like, okay, we've initiated with our pet enough to prove ourselves that he's not going to leave us, because we've learned the wonderful, mysterious art of being able to actually feed it. Wow. And then we can show that off. We can learn some spells and then go to the Barrens. So we'll leave off Silverpine like maybe halfway. So what we do today will be maybe enough, or that'll be the same thing where we have to say like anything that's yellow we can leave. So did we do everything else? Skittering Blood we'll get from the mine. Aragol's Folly is presumably there, but I don't know actually. I mean, I would find it eventually anyway, but the farm north of the bridge. Yeah. That must be it. Spoilers, you're not allowed to read quest text, even though that's essentially what we're trying to test with this too. Like, most people just look it up on... Not that I really looked up that much stuff anyway, normally playing it, but you can find out most stuff just from actually reading the text. Okay, so let's just do the... turn this one first. Yeah, I'm going to try not to loot anything, just so I don't have to go back again. Like, only if it's a green or something super rare. There's too much contextual stuff that I'm keeping, though, just because of whatever. I don't know whether I'll need it or not. You got to be careful not to just, like, run right through. Or actually, this will be fitting to turn in last, because that's where I wanted to rest anyway. So actually, maybe I won't do it this way. No, I'll come back to the path, though, because it'll set a bad habit if I say... You know, with all the Sons of Aragol and stuff, I don't want to walk through, like... I even went so far as to go over the water, but that was just for the exploration purpose. It's going to be all the way here and to the north. Look at that fucking huge cluster of stuff. One of these is going to be the Son of Aragol. I don't know exactly how they're... Gobsmack. That's obviously a player. We did fish in, I think, this exact one, didn't I? Or... I can't remember. Yeah, this was like on the way back, I think. Or like, you know, each body of water counts as its own thing too. It's not like, oh, you have to go super far out of your way to do it. So this will lead to the Skittering Dark, but I somehow got there differently, didn't I? Or maybe not. Because this is like on the wrong side. I must have like went through that. Wait, is that Ivor's Patch or what is that? kind of confused as to the dimensions of this. We went through like maybe behind here and then we got there. Because this will come out where the ship is and stuff. That whole area seems to be a padding zone for the Son of Aragorn, but then again, everything kind of is. Yeah, this is where we would turn in the quest anyway. Yeah, they certainly owe us favors, so I don't feel bad for exploiting them to sleep there. It's kind of working in reverse of how we normally justify it. Like, Disciples' Gloves, nothing really rare or special about them. You gotta remember those little conditions, like, oh, you can't... Wait, this is different. I don't know what's going on anymore. Oh, that's the one they're at. Does that mean this is where the Aragorn thing will be? He said north of the bridge, but he didn't say which one. Or like, yeah, like there's two. Enter the Dead Fields. Essence of Nightlash. Isn't this like a higher level one though? Oh shit, maybe that means I shouldn't do it. Or yellow. Technically, I don't have to do it. Ravenclaw Apparition. Okay, we gotta be careful though, don't aggro too many, or Nightlash is gonna unexpectedly spawn when I do kill one of these, is how he's kind of saying it. If she's not there already. I would still want to explore the barn, as is my tendency. But this one I wasn't even planning on doing, but... I like how we were actually bandaging that clown for the escort quest. This I would do almost just to make sure that the path is clear, but that was kind of a bad decision to do. Should almost have the pet attack the other one just so it, you know, it does actually tank for a little bit, as much as I generally don't like it to do that. The one thing they have is a sense of honor that the regular gnolls wouldn't, because they're undead, so they don't care to run away. So that's a good thing in a way. It makes them more fearless, fight to the death, even though they're already dead. You gotta be careful with looting, because I don't want to keep going back. Mystic. Blade Runner. So there's nothing that actually makes me have to kill these, but... Did I actually kill that one because he's gonna pad around and hit me when I least expect it? And maybe that's one thing people would say that's negative, like, oh, they totally recycle all these textures for the human areas because that's what these used to be. That's why they were so keen on doing the undead. The healing potion is good, shadow gem is good. I don't know if I've gotten a shadow gem actually up to this point. I'm getting too cocky because it's not only because of the pet, but also just because I got the potion maybe, or I don't know. Just, you shouldn't go in like that. But you can solo that seemingly with ease because the guy doesn't know that he's a mystic and casting spells, or he's gonna heal this, isn't he? Or he heals himself. Yeah, I'm as a hunter, and you can't deal with that. Or now the chick is gonna spawn in too. That's why you can't leave stuff to chance, or something's gonna pad over. There's so many things that could go wrong. So he basically did solo that pretty well. As many of the bandages as I've sold, now you're gonna live to regret them somehow. Oh man, I wasn't even planning on doing this one. Too claustrophobic sometimes. Something's gonna aggro from inside the barn too. I don't know if she's just gonna be in a fixed spot like that, or it did say just kill these, or she could have a super low chance to spawn. Gotta stop doing that. Only seems to be one in here, or of course there's not. But that kind of bypasses the rule maybe a little bit. He seemed to handle the Mystic pretty well. Great teamwork, even though we're splitting damage, which is arguably counterintuitive, but just for the sake of tanking, it's fine. They can use teamwork too. But then he's going to end up killing that 100% himself. Let's just try to kill steal it, help it out a little bit. They learned even the value of teamwork from us. They were trying to do the same thing, healing him instead of himself. Like the last one just healed itself, even though it didn't need to, arguably. I can't tell if that guy's really hard patting around the whole thing, but that's like the worst place to put a chest, like outside of all your fortification. Unless she's in the house, I don't really understand what her deal is. Or maybe she'll spawn by the graves? I don't really understand. Oh, there she is. Hey, does that really just happen randomly? Or is it part of... Like, is it just a normal respawn? Or is it actually because I've killed all these gnolls randomly who are even away from her? Oh, what's this rank called? Faithful. From dependable to faithful. We better take care of her first, then we'll worry about the chest later. We checked out the barn. I want to check out the house, too. That is kind of a weird place to even rest, like the house where those clowns are. As long as she's not going to aggro with anything else, although something might respawn. Because it's been so long since we killed some of these. And this is the problem with the pet too. It'll keep it in a place and not let you kite away. 75 over 12, which isn't too bad, but dodge can be very scary, especially for my whole rogue experience. We have all these different PTSD stories like, oh, you know, Murlocs can be scary and this and that. Let's check out the house. Oh, I don't even have any more of those and I can't craft anymore. We don't really have any other purpose here. That was just like a little bonus unexpected one. But let's get back to the Skittering Dark, which is a little more out of the way than maybe I gave it credit for. Go nab the chest first, then I'll try to do the house. Like every little structure I try to check out. Doesn't seem like there's anything in there, but... So that kind of proves he wasn't tied to the chest because he sort of already aggroed before it. So none of these should respawn because they're already... I haven't even dealt with them yet. That's the biggest thing that can get you killed. Is like literally some other player because it's meant to be a solo experience anyway. So you're suffering from something you're avoiding in the first place. I guess we could sell these, but that's taking up too much unnecessary space. I don't even mind if that dude aggroes, but yeah, just wait till we get another rank of wing clip. Then it'll actually do a meaningful amount of damage for a period of time, which will be a hilarious way to, you know, spammable DPS once we have enough mana and stuff to do it. I can't believe I'm doing this all with a one-handed weapon, though. We'll literally get dual wielding before I ever end up using a two-handed axe, which I did get one, but it's just in my bank, and it was only like level 5, so it's not that much better than this one anyway. That dude's padding around a little bit. The Nightmare is always just aggroing multiple things at once, which sometimes you can't even avoid, so some of these quests are going to get me in trouble. But that's why you can do it when you're a little higher level, not just to make up for the fact that, you know, oh, you're cowardly and you don't want to, whatever, you don't want to take a chance. It's looking at him actually getting stuck on the fence. Part of the reason is that you don't want to... Part of the reason is that you don't want to allow it to, I forgot what I was going to say. Like, oh yeah, the fact that you're obviously restricting your character so much makes it justifiable. So that is annoying, but that means that you're putting yourself at risk, and I could try to do the coup de grace and finish it off. Not that you don't have ample mana to just do it again. Looting during combat, always lovely. Just don't get another stack of linen, because that's going to get you in trouble. You've earned this for all your hard work. Let's just give you that. I don't know if he actually likes fish, but seems to be happy with the bear meat for now. Nothing in this house, of course. That's fine. Kill one for the road. Yeah, we'll have done at least Northern Silverpine, and then we'll earn our way back to Durotar. Not that we were like really exiled here for our failure, but we sort of exiled ourselves, like on a path of discovery after losing our beloved pet. We needed to reflect in an area that would let us come face to face with death, right? There's like an opposite interpretation psychology thing. Like, for example, when you're sad, do you listen to sad music, or do you listen to happy music to cheer yourself up, or sad music to revel in your sadness? This is like us reveling in the loss of the pet. Like we're going to face with death itself to see maybe it's not so bad, or maybe what is he doing? He's like chasing a critter, I guess, but where? What the fuck? They sometimes do that, like even the wolves will do that, but... Okay, dude. He's gonna aggro me. Like all these random things that could potentially get you in trouble. He just wants to offer his bear meat up to me. Like that's the kind of mechanic that'll get you killed. You're fighting two things at once, and oh no, this bear comes out of nowhere, coming to tackle me. Just totally random. It looked like he was hitting a critter, but then why would he come back here with the same level of ferocity? One of these times, fall damage is gonna do me in too. I have a real obsession with like sort of clearing a path to where I'm going, because even if you think it could get you in trouble, I'm being kind of too lax with aggroing multiple things together though. But using the pet to tank is a very useful tool, even though I don't largely want that to be the case. I still want to tank it myself, but since we don't have Mongoose Bite or counterattack, or it's only fair if it's a 2v1, like a 1v1 I'll never do that, unless it's like something really elite. We need the one empty space just for this anyway. Didn't we have a second potion? Yeah, we have a second one, so that gives me some security blanket. You know, this always makes it so you want to fight your way to a place so that you can run your way out of it without having to fight your way back. Let's say we aggro a Son of Aragorn there and we have to run in a straight line. We don't want to have to worry about these fucking clown bears running up and down like that one guy was chasing a invisible imaginary rabbit. I gotta remember to get the pet involved, but trying to give him a break sometimes. This one you shouldn't have to kill, but then I'll be so thorough with killing them that you'll end up aggroing or getting respawns. You argue we don't even have to go inside of here, but there is always that temptation. Like, clear the whole area out. Yeah, if you choose one of these as your pet, something is wrong with you. Not just because, oh, it's a spider and that's kind of dumb, but also, why not choose the other, better looking one? This is not what I was expecting. These kind of hairy, weird ones. That's always a good topic for psychology too. Like, why do people find stuff like spiders so scary when stuff like you might not find a cheetah or something as scary, even though it could be way more dangerous to you or whatever, other kind of animals. Like, sure, you know that they might pose you a threat, but just visually they don't scare you. So it's more about the superficial aspect. We shouldn't go into combat either with this shit on us, or we should have crafted some anti-venom type stuff. I don't even have food or bandages, so this could get annoying with these debuffs. It's only sensible that these two might aggro together, and there might not be a good way to really prevent that from happening. Or the biggest reason why it might be happening is because I'm not getting my pet to stay. So that could be really annoying, actually. You should just... This might be the first mine we've been inside of, right? Because, I mean, it's a human area. Or, I mean, you could have been inside a couple probably in Turistfall, but I didn't, like, backtrack. I just did the stuff that they gave us in Brill that we kind of came across more organically, leaving my pet kind of high and dry by ignoring that. So if we have to come running out of the mine, we should be fine, except for this dude, maybe. Just in case everything goes wrong. Always expect the unexpected. The poison is actually getting him too. So I want to fight my way through here for no really good reason. Doesn't this mean that you should be getting the drops from here? Skittering blood. From the spiders in the Skittering Dark. I mean, we've already killed a couple. We should have at least gotten one. Yeah, sometimes you should let your pet stay. So it's not only a troublemaker if you keep it on defensive or aggro, obviously, but it'll even cause trouble when it's on passive, just because it'll get into weird spots that you don't expect it to be. Some of these angles can be tricky. There'll be one padding around too. Just got to watch the poison. If it's applied on both of us, that kind of puts it at a major disadvantage. Want to see what's at the end of the cave too. Oh wow, this doesn't feel right at all. So some of these creatures are basically unbothered by the whole plague and everything. Like the spiders are just regular spiders. They're not affected by it. Or like, I didn't even see that other one there. Maybe stacked up on top of each other as they sometimes can be. Look at his grunts of agony. He's getting crit or something. Like the Murlocs don't seem to mind. The spiders don't seem to mind. Some of these conflicts make you feel more normal. Like, what does Roy Mustang say? It's at times like this that I feel, when I'm fighting real monsters, do I feel more human than ever before. And he's also reflecting on like how much of a monster he felt like during the Ishval War. It's the same thing here. Like, you almost like to fight Murlocs. You almost like to fight these regular spiders because it makes you feel like the good old days when things weren't gone to shit, like with to do with the Scourge, right? You'd rather fight more normal things. this doesn't feel like you're in an area full of undeath and fighting the Scourge and over the Spectre of Arthas and Kel'Thuzad and stuff. That was a really cool decision to sort of elevate Kel'Thuzad to that level of importance that he could be the final boss, basically, of the whole game, even, of the original. So all we need is the Skittering Blood. The question is, what if they drop... See, this is like the worst spot to ever put yourself in your whole Warcraft life, because you're going to have to fight your way back out, but also it prevents you from running out maybe comfortably, because you're going to be in here for so long. I swear I'm going to let it die at some point just because I'm not paying attention to its health value, but then again, my whole intention... Wow, he actually fucking one-upped me. Do they gain experience at like some other greater rate than I'm not accounting for? I feel like it was always hard to catch them up if you wanted to. Look at what a bugged out angle he's in. I've seen a couple bugs today, like the one guy running against a fence. Now these are level appropriate, kind of. Like we went from level 4... No. We went from level 15 to almost 17, but he went from 10 to 16. Like, what is that? Now, he is actually tanking them properly. Or, yeah, he's actually holding aggro, which I don't want him to do. Oh, aggroing 2 of these is a bad idea. But it might be hard to prevent. At least he won't be aggroing stuff now, but... I mean, hey, I wouldn't mind you pulling aggro, I must admit, given how much these are actually hitting me for. On top of the poison, no doubt. I do have another potion in reserve, so that's like a good psychological thing. Just, I wish I could use bandages, or I wish I even had some food. Kind of lazy on some of these things. Why do I even have that? Oh, it's like, so you could give it, I should have sold that. Or you know, like, you'll need that as a quest item to give to them. That was almost my thought process behind it. This also makes the whole respawning much more likely. I don't even need anything from here, it's just... Oh, that almost made it look like the other guy was coming. Yeah, you almost do want him to tank now, but if I do, it's fine. Just because my health isn't coming back at any good rate, and these aren't going to drop food or anything for me. We got the 6 out of 6. There's almost no point to fight through these two. Like, I do want to explore the area, but I don't need the mine that badly. Kind of kicking the nads that we couldn't get the tin ore that we saw. Like, it's only gonna be so many opportunities. See, that's a good use of backpedaling, or at least it's, you know, in single player PvE, I wouldn't exactly say it's that big of a deal. Yeah, that is something I find uncomfortable though. Hairy spiders. Just regular spiders are one thing, but oh, I can't even loot. Yeah, so if they get a green, I'll have to sack something from my inventory to make room for it. But that's the area where you see the light like come in from the... What the fuck? Okay, I'll totally blame my pet for that. He can take the brunt of it. You gotta let him tank this for sure, because I can't really do anything to it. And he can tank. It's not like he's not capable of doing that. Just in principle, that's not my style of play that I'm going for, but look how he's getting crits so bad, dude. Whenever you hear that groan of agony. Yeah, this is kind of annoying because you can certainly do men pet. There's no rule against it. You can even abuse that like during combat. I'll turn into a healer for it. Where does that lead? Like, a lot of these have the same clone structure as whatever, like human areas and whatnot. Now those two aggro together, that's not very nice. We are gonna get respawns from behind, so we'll have to fight our way out of here too. Oh, fuck off. Oh shit, I'll definitely have to use a potion. Look how badly they hit me at the beginning of that. I don't see how you could expect not to use the potion. I'll have to do it just to even kill this one, let alone to deal with the other one. Why did they do so much? Did they like both come in and crit me at the beginning? I didn't even... So that shows you that I certainly couldn't tank 2 of these myself just normally. Not that you should really expect to be able to do that, but... Yeah, I'll end up doing more healing on here than my priest, like how I did more range on my warrior than on this, just because not really the 1 to 60 warrior, but or don't these basically lead to the same place? Maybe they don't. The 1 at a time I can do, but 2 at a time I almost just can't. I mean, these you'll never be able to use, but or you'll never be able to make again, but there's nothing special, sentimental, really worth keeping. Oh yeah, this is the one I was talking about. Oh shit. Might be a reason to use it too. Rare spawn to which we'll be walking back. Man, so many rare spawns that we got. Now, would it be possible to aggro this without aggroing something else, I wonder? It's bad because you'll only be able to run so far, too. And then you'll end up aggroing other things, right? That could be a death sentence for sure. Right, like you're totally going to be getting respawns from behind. You might not be able to run away from this. Feels like a shame not to fight it, but there's too many things there. Let's see what aggroes, if anything. Did we maybe luck out? I mean, 1v1 I can always take. Oh yeah, he's not even that strong. Wow, he's very squishy. Almost like a spider. Will squash you like a bug. This scared me less than those two together. Absorb, parry. Hello? Ah, yes, of course. You have some crazy ability that just one-shots you when you get low. I'll use that, but I don't know what that was. Little gloves of the eagle, which we can use actually as an upgrade. At least we cleared some space in our bag with that. Where is it? Where is it? Everything's going to be better. Let's look at... What was that ability right now? His Shadow Shock hits you for 135. Of course. Of course. What if that had crit? There's almost no need to even try to fight your way through this, but it's fine, I guess. We got a lot of rare spawns. That's a lot of integrity to try to fight them. The only more integrity you're going to have is actually doing elites. A little bit too antsy. I kind of just want to get out of here and then... Or like even he's going to respawn now too. I'm having a little bit of trouble tanking these, so I'll have to fight my way out kind of normally. If only I had more stuff in between to actually do something. I don't know. If these two connect, that would be kind of a lifesaver. That guy might aggro. Don't really need to deal with that one. Maybe a good time to use this, but he'll come around and aggro a whole bunch of stuff. Oh no, he fell down in a very unexpected way that you might sometimes complain about. Like, oh, you were expecting him to go around, but that time it was fine. And it does me a favor. Yeah, we're seeing how untanky we are now, I guess. These are doing like way too much to me. Okay, that guy's not really moving. I just want to come out maybe the other way. And if I do that, basically 69. We've seen 69 actually a lot today. Always have these little scare moments. So that guy wasn't hard at all, and I was almost mocking it, but that's like a get talk trash, get punished moment. Like we have in almost every series ever, permadeath style. Like, yeah, this totally connects even as the map shows. We can just fight our way out that way. Yeah, see, that's one good thing about the whole solo dead servers experience, is that you do have a case where... You do have a case in which you're able to not have to worry about missing out on stuff like that, for the most part, because, you know, like, never before have you seen this many rare spawns and gotten them all, you know, throughout an organic level experience, because everyone else would have taken them by then. So maybe I'll actually save the one thing. No, I still kind of want to do that, though. The other farm across from this dude. Or whatever. It's not like I have to go there right away. We could finish up in Silver Pine and then make a trip to the Barrens. I try not to even say stuff like that, even if I have it planned out mentally, but you know, it seems like an organic thing to do because that'll give us a good excuse to learn spells. So we're not going to be doing it every 2 levels where we just go back. But then again, some of these levels are going to be so extended that it makes logical sense to do it. Yeah, these definitely hit a lot harder than I expect, even without the whole poison aspect. He's going to have more health than me, and he certainly has way more armor. Like, if you look at it, 755 versus 301. Yeah, we're very squishy. Yeah, we're already dual wielding, but it's just a goddamn fish. I don't have any more potions, and you might have to fight these 2 together. So this kind of proves that there are respawns already. I mean, you can deal with 2, but it's very tricky. And you should almost save this till you get lower, but you kind of don't want to get lower. That's part of the whole principle of it. Oh, we got maybe a little lucky there. Or like they're both 13, but they're actually not even. Yeah, these guys kind of preserved through the whole experience of the Scourge. Maybe the only difference is, like, not that they became undead or changed in any way, but just that they were able to take over the mind because of all the other chaos going on. They're more like just, you know, war profiteers in a manner of speaking. Like where nature just takes back over. This is where they originally lived, and then they were displaced by the filthy alliance, the filthy humans. Yeah, I think the definition of undead was too narrow. Like the Forsaken, like they're all just the humans specifically who were here and turned into undead, not like a broader meaning where you could say humanoid tracking was definitely the wrong thing here, but I guess it was just more paranoia over the Sons of Aragorn in general. So it'll be our second night that we spend with the pet on their lovely rug in there. Or no, they might actually have a bed, so we'll be living the high life this time. Let's just get out of here nice and safe. Don't aggro 2 things at once, or save the... Sometimes I use the racial flippantly, just like, oh, I feel like just using it, but there's no good... Oh, please. Oh, please. That was such an unnecessary one. That is 100% my pet's fault. So he is actually tanking that, taking one for the team rightfully. You got to make sure you check all these, even though you're resigning yourself to the fact that you really can't loot or you don't want to loot, just because you sort of might be getting a green at some point. The one thing we were actually desiring here were sort of the heals. I like how they have both colors of these too. And then they even have the other kind, so they just kind of mishmashed all 3 together. Or maybe the only one of those we saw was the rare spawn itself. So I was even praising them, and that's what they give me as a reward. Or what did he even drop? Oh, he dropped like the little green. We got quite a few greens today, didn't we? We got this from the shop. We got this maybe from a drop. Maybe these 2. I don't remember about that. Yeah, we almost have full greens. Like we're twinked out as a single player only, no auction house thing. Just somehow the world is chipping together to make that more common as you get higher, but the thing is, some of those are going to last a while, because even when you get greens, they're not always going to be the greens that you can use or that you would want to use. They'll be for other classes and stuff, which is still good vendor kind of fodder, but unless we get caught by a Son of Aragorn out here, it should be smooth sailing. Yeah, we have a little bit left maybe to finish in Silver Pine, but for the most part, I think the northern part is sufficient, and we found our other half here, so it's not like we... you know, are dissatisfied with this. I don't think you can really avoid aggroing these 2 together, but they're at least a little bit lower level. I could wait for the racial. I mean, it's not like something's going to respawn here. They seem more aggressive with the poisons actually out here than the mist ones. The mist ones just seem to do maybe more damage. And, well, mainly they were just higher level, and that increases mitigation and stuff. This could be actually the Grotus effect, where... one of these will level us and sort of just... It just seems natural to wait for the racial. I don't see why I wouldn't. Or whatever, just... The pet sometimes goes ahead of you that way and just, you know, takes care of it. I should use tab more for that, but it doesn't matter. Filthy Degenerate Clicker. See, sometimes you get lax because you can get away with so much. Sometimes it's all about your approach, especially as a hunter, right? It's how you go into the fight. You have a trap ready, you have a bomb ready, you have all these different things. So this almost replaces like some of our right? I don't feel bad for using it. It's actually kind of intrinsic and interesting because that replaces our ability to use range. So we can throw a bomb, but we don't consider that to be on the same level of using a bow. Now that would be too much. Look how long he's been happy for, too. He's just happy to be out with us, adventuring. Part of that has to do with maybe the loyalty level that they have, faithful. See, like this whole mechanic I'm figuring out basically for the first time. I've never really done this. I never really understood how it worked. Like, obviously, playing against hunters, you might pick up a certain amount of knowledge, but you don't really care about the intricacies of them feeding their pet and stuff. Like in PvP, like what does it matter? Or even raiding, like, oh, this hunter had to bring a bunch of food for his pet. It's not like I was conjuring food for them as a mage because they don't eat like the biscuits and cinnamon rolls and stuff that you're doing. Yeah, they need to be the ultimate vending machine where they actually are able to craft, conjure like meat for them too, or fish or whatever. Acquiesce to their whole potential diets. Just watch out for the son of Aragorn again. He seems to be able to go in the whole goddamn zone as much as he pleases. We're basically level 17, and I'm not really paying attention as much to the crit. I want to do that for a few fights where I actually see, like, are we actually seeing that it's a 25% crit chance? Because that's amazing. Oh, another one, dude. We got like 3 rare spawns. Right, we got the spider. We got another one that I forgot about. And then we got this guy. Although he wants to aggro together with this. Or see, this is what the pet does. It'll keep it in one spot when I was trying to kite it back. So that's potentially bad. Or I almost didn't even want to get to... I almost didn't want to get to 17, but that's fine. This guy's not too bad. What was the first one I killed? I forgot. Comes in rage. That ability that guy did was insane, though. Cadet gauntlets, discolored warwick heart. Like, what they're dropping isn't exactly that special, but... Oh, yeah, like, the bear meat is pointless, too, because it won't last till the next time, right? There's no way to prevent that spoilage mechanic that we've introduced. 245. That wasn't too bad, actually. I mean, I'm obviously taking my time, but... This is like without rested experience. This is while RPing and derping around and whatever. So that's understandable. So it's going to be a weird place to actually consider it restful, but considering that the house is so safe, it doesn't matter that there's stuff outside. At least it's somewhere other than the sepulcher. And then, like I said, I can already spoil what's going to happen next time. I'm not going to be in Silverpine Forest still. I wanted to do that quest aside, but I guess it's fine. Like across the way. So thankfully this at least won't give us rested, but for once we actually get something that is very nice, which is our own bed. Right, like they have no need for it, and it's just a leftover relic. And we can even have our pet sleep here too, if he wants to maybe work with me a little bit to get in position, or... What, like he just would rather sleep on the floor? I'm fine with sleeping in bed with him. Come on, come on. What the fuck? He's just ignoring me. Come on, I'm trying to give you the royal treatment. Fuck. He like keeps phasing through it. Making me mad. We're trying to put him to bed like a spoiled child. We're too big to even fit here properly. Yeah, see, this is good RP where you're literally just... And if you want to sleep on the floor, that's your punishment for being so difficult. Like, just... Oh, he gets on it for like a millisecond. It's almost like he's not meant to, but... It doesn't feel right. I'm trying to give you the right treatment. What the fuck? It's not like you can command him exactly where to go. But like, get him at an angle. Come on, just generally, vaguely put yourself on here. This is like a puzzle. Try to get the war. Yeah, there. But then as I go... No, stay. Or... Damn it. Kind of the angle wasn't the greatest, but I should have probably counted that. If you go through at like an angle, right? You leave him here, and then you go through like this. But based on where he is what you have to do. So you come like this. He's very confused by the outer structure of it. Like, he keeps bumping against that. Oh my god. It's almost better if you RP walk into it. He'll be more likely to do the same. Okay, that's it. That's it. You can go ahead and have that side of the... Oh, no. You can have that side of it. Dude, you're being really difficult. I'm being nice to you, and you're doing this shit to me. Come on. Oh, wow. He steps on it for a second, then he gets off. It's almost like he doesn't like you, but this one night you'll sleep like a king. Please. How often do we get a bed like this? Like our whole experience in this horrible part of the world, we have had to sleep on the rug and the floor. Well, I guess he's used to sleeping out in the wild. Okay, so have him stay, even though he's kind of clipping through that a bit. Now, what if I have him follow? I can't see. He's gone. Or no, maybe he's in a good spot. Stay. Okay, he's on the bed. He's satisfied with his life. He can have that side. I can have this side. Okay, it's a little immersion breaking that you lose that. This is going to be actually the nicest sleep we've maybe ever had because, you know, quality human beds. You have to be like facing the other way, like compared to those shitty little orc hammocks that we get. But your head does actually phase through it. No, just you have to face like this. Or wait. Now, this was right, but then why did we face the wrong way that time? Fuck. Break my no chat rule. I mean, you can just imagine. Like, our head is really in the clouds here. Very, very fitting. Like, he's just going to stay up all night, keep guard. And we did hit 17, which is a little bit surprising, but I guess I won't worry about the talent point. I guess I could feed him all 8 of these, but... Oh, shit. Okay, so that's good. We get a nice rest, and they owe us a lot of favors because we saved this guy from his whole clown warg thing. Yeah, we're trying to give him nightmares, though. His reward for being rescued from the wargs is he has to sleep in the same house as one. So that's why he doesn't feel comfortable sleeping, because he'll try to do something nasty to him. Last time they gave us Troll's Blood Potion for the reward of a quest after we slept in their house. So they could have extracted that blood from us as we were sleeping. I wonder where they got it. There are no trolls in Tirisfal Glades. And then the same thing here, like, oh, they'll give us some nice warg meat as a reward. And it's like, where did my pet go afterwards?